got broken.
Okay, so your client Windows 10 or 11 is not joining the domain with the
Yes.
server? Okay, so can you quickly, if it's not a very long term short, so can you quickly share your screen?
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Jamin says DNS issue. Guys, as we say that market needs troubleshooters, so let's troubleshoot quickly. The client machine is not joining the domain. So we can check the IP address. Can you show the IP address? So when you go to CMD in the server manager, so in the search in this Windows, type search and type CMD command. So go down or further down. Yeah, the search and type CMD and then click it and show the IP config. Type IP config. Enter. Okay, so it starts showing. So IP config / all. Space. Okay, yeah, without space also it works. DNS. Oh, you have IPv6 enabled, and it's what's the IP here, man? Oh, okay, it's 150. So let's go to local server in the background. You see that local server manager, the background server manager, background page, and you see in the left side local server, and then click on this Ethernet 0, that down there, Ethernet 0, yeah, this one, IP address, yeah, and let's quickly double click that Ethernet 0 and properties. Uncheck v6, Internet Protocol version 6. You see the box beside that, uncheck that. And go to Internet Protocol version 4, that is above. Double click that. Oh, there is no IP here. So use the following IP, click the second one, use the following IP, circle, yeah. And IP we gave there was IP 192 dot, go ahead, 192.168.200.1, I guess. And oh, okay, Fuzzy also had same problem. So yeah, 192.168. No gateway, no gateway. And go for preferred DNS, same as above, 192.168.200.1. Okay, press OK now, and press OK again. Yeah, so close and then go to the other machine, second machine on the top. Yeah, this one, and go to the, yeah, we need to go to the network card. So go down beside the clock. There is a network icon. Right click it. So do you see the clock? Yeah, right click and network and internet settings. Let's give it static IP quickly and Ethernet. Oh man, Windows 11. So Ethernet, you see the Ethernet? This one. And click that. Yeah, that's the profile type. But if you go down further, we need to give the IP address. Edit IP assignment. So IP assignment and click edit. And drop down. Don't need DHCP. No. And IPv4 enable. And yeah, start giving IP here. 192.168.200.200.2. Good mark 255.255.255.0. And preferred DNS, no gateway. Preferred DNS is 192.168.200.1. DNS is living on 1. Save. Now we just need to, so open the command prompt here, cmd. So do you see the search here as well? In Windows 11 below the bottom, search is written there. Close this and then see the search. Yeah, and click cmd here as well. And command prompt, click that. You have to, yeah, open. You have to type ping space and 192.168.200.1. 192.168.200.1. Okay, thank God. So go down to the yellow folder. Let's try to join the domain now. Click. Then this PC, the left side. Right click that and then show more options. Yeah, down. Properties. Show more options. Yeah. And properties. Properties. And then not rename this PC. If you go down by specifications, the right side, go down. Actually, you need to rename this PC as well. But we need to join the domain. Yeah, go down. There's domain or workgroup. Down. Domain or workgroup. And click change. Down. So let's put the computer name as Win01. Or Client01, sorry. Client01. And the domain. So do you remember the domain name? Actually, let's go to the master one here on the other machine. And local server. Left side, yeah. That. Okay. So it's apricot.local. That's the domain name. So remember the spelling, P-R-I-K-O-T. Local, just that there. Apricot.local. P-R-I-K-O-T. .local. Okay. Okay. All right. What's the domain admin name? Username. So go back to master machine, server, main controller, and go to the command prompt. The CMD is still open. The right side is still open. That you put the IP config below CMD. This one. And type here, who am I? Who am I? One word. Who am I? Enter. So it's Raphael admin. Remember the spellings? Raphael admin. So go to the next machine and hopefully you remember the password for that as well. So go to the other machine and the username, email. Oh, seriously, it's asking for emailers. More choices. Go down. More choices. More choices. And use a different account. Go the more choices. Yeah. Windows 11 sucks. Use a different account. Click. Did you click that? Huh. Yeah. Asking for computer name, domain changes. Enter the name and password of an account with permission to join the domain. Okay, so just click on the email address. Hope it takes that. Apricot, P-R-I-K-O-T, backslash, Raphael admin. The links have to be correct for that. Raphael admin and the password. password you number. Domain, this device is joined to AzureAD. Join an Active Directory domain, you must first go to the settings and choose to disconnect your device from your works. Okay, it's a little more. Jamin, we don't need to write .local when we are putting the domain name. With just the prefix also it works. But yeah, this is another thing, Rafael, that we did not do actually in the class. You join it's kind of joined with the Azure Active Directory directly. Uh, yeah, tenant credential. Yeah, he must have signed with the global admin of AzureAD from this Windows 11. So it says here, did your domain, you must go to the settings and choose to disconnect your device from your work or school account. Ugh. Okay. So press OK here, Rafael. But this is actually going a bit longer. Cancel this window. Cancel. Go down. Cancel. And go back. You can see the back button. Settings. Yeah, that is clickable. No. Okay. Close it. And you have to click. Go to down to the search and click settings. You have to disconnect it from directly AzureAD. This machine is directly registered to Azure. This is how in my company we are configured, because we don't have on-premises Active Directory there. Our all laptops and devices are directly registered with Azure Active Directory. So here we have a on-premises Active Directory, so that's why. Okay, so go to work or school. Where's that? Or user settings. Go back. Go click the settings on the top. Settings. Windows 11 is a pain. No, accounts. Go down to accounts. And then on the right side, go down to work or school. If it says work or school, yeah, go down bottom, yeah, to that. And yes, it's connected here. So drop down this Raphael Air that we're connected by is written that. Do you see Raphael connected by Raphael array at Cloud Academy 293 written there with Windows icon? Go up and down on this page, the page that we are now. Where's your mouse? Do you see your name there? File array down. Yeah, this one. Click disconnect. There's a disconnect button. Disconnect. Yes. So you got connected from, yeah, go ahead, disconnect. You got connected directly from the cloud, and you're not supposed to do that. So now you have to put that username, Raphael array. Then put password, press OK, disconnect from there. And the way I showed you, you have to join the domain or follow the previous video to join the domain. Your main problem was your IP. Then the next problem was this. You directly join to the Azure Active Directory instead of the on-premises Active Directory. So, okay, guys. So this means that so Raphael, this much, yes, from here you have, no, not Raphael admin. You have to go for Raphael array at Cloud Academy or the, the uh, global admin account. Yeah, the Azure global admin account you have to put here. Disconnect properly. And I hope, you can see on the top left, Raphael array at Cloud Academy 923. This one there. On the top left, I can see there. So just start typing in the email. Instead of Rafael admin, start typing Rafael array. Rafael admin, remove Rafael admin, which you just typed. Remove. Okay. Rafael array. RAPHAEL array. ARE. Start typing Rafael array. Maybe you're looking at somewhere else as well. You have to type the global admin account and start typing, Rafael. What are you doing?
I need to mute myself.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
You can go on
you
from
see,
here, right?
this email is not correct.
Oh, okay. So then try to
Yes,
confirm from your.
I've changed this email. So
Oh, okay. The domain
yeah,
was changed.
because you asked us to set up our account for 1 month. So I
Yes,
did
yes.
set up for 1 month. It now expires. So I now switched to developer for 3 months. So this email has changed.
Okay. Well, you
So
have to use the developer account. My
yes,
suggestion is to recreate the client again, reinstall
no,
Windows
I've done
11.
all that. I've done all that, and but this email is not correct. I have the right email now.
Then you can confirm that, but try to troubleshoot now from here because we need to start the class as well, right?
Okay,
So, okay. So
thank you.
IP is correct, but you just need to have the account to disconnect yourself from Azure and follow video to how to join the domain again.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Right, guys. So let's get going. And troubleshooting is one thing that we should be real good in. And for that, you have to explore all the options. You have to that when you're troubleshooting, it really tests your knowledge. That how much you know and how system really works. And then you can troubleshoot. The second thing is that the more you troubleshoot your own lab, you redo your lab again and again, and your troubleshooting skills become better and better. If you're not redoing your labs, and then you're relying on, oh, I will watch the video and I'm good. No, you're not good. And you're simply wasting your time here. If you're not redoing any of the labs, my suggestion, repeat the whole lab again till now, uh, then delete it, and then repeat the whole lab again till now again. So, and the way the confidence level that you will get will be amazing. Also, will be so much the second and third time when you redo the whole lab till now. Uh, when you're doing third time, you will realize that you have learned so much more from the exact same thing again. But, many of the things which were hidden or many of the problems that were not coming before, now you have to troubleshoot. So you become a real expert when you repeat that. It's boring, it's time consuming, but if you're here to learn, this is the way to learn. Properly learn, redo all the labs, right, from the scratch. So, yeah. And James is in the chat. He signed it with your tenant group. Yeah, exactly. All right. Guys, so this is what we are going to do. We need to explore dynamic user in groups, how to add devices to a group, continue exploring more features. So we're going to go and try to do more labs. And although I'm supposed to go fast, but without exploring every nick and corner of what we are learning, it's going to be not really no useful. So let me just go ahead and start this. And I'm logged in already with this dude here. Well, this user account, I'm an admin at the weirddomain.onwhatsapp.com. So then I'm going to go to the gray icon and then show all. And so here I'm going to go to Azure Directory, which opens entra.microsoft.com. From here, we were going for groups, and we're all groups here, and then there's dynamic groups that we were. So, what is security group for? We already realized that. We know that security groups give access to
Excuse me,
resources.
excuse me, Amir.
Yeah.
Can you increase the size of the screen,
Yeah. And
please?
110. Okay. There you go. Right? How about 125?
What?
All right. So, okay. Now, yeah, the business is, sir, I was now able to connect my client one to domain. Is it now or is it not? So I think now, NOW. Am I reading not to now? Now, okay. Great, great. There you go. Very
Sir,
good. Very good.
can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah.
Actually, a lot of things were not working for me. I was not able to connect to the domain, and also the exchange users were not working. The labs pretty much messed up. So today,
Uh-huh.
in the first troubleshooting, I was able to connect to the domain.
Ah, excellent. Excellent. Way to go, man. Excellent, guys.
Thank you, sir.
So this is how we should, with passion, should work. So amazing, guys. So that's great, and let's go ahead. And now we need to go ahead with creating the dynamic group. So what are dynamic groups? A dynamic user, we need to explore dynamic user and in groups. That feature. So last time we had created a new group here. So I click the new group. Then there is security, but there is Microsoft 365 as well. In fact, we explored both Microsoft 365 and security. Microsoft 365 is for collaboration only. Collaboration, which means it can connect to many other applications as well. But security is just to give you access to other resources. But we're going to stick to security now, but because we need to understand dynamic user and dynamic device. So dynamic user assigned we already created, right? Now let's go for dynamic user. I'm going to select that dynamic user. As soon as you select from assigned, the options change here. So from assigned, I go to dynamic user. You see that add dynamic query is written there, and no owner selected. Well, that's usual. So security and dynamic user, what is that for? So dynamic user is that if you are, if it's in large organizations with thousands of users, um, you know, there are many, there are, there are many who are, many, many who are joining or leaving company, and hence they suppose a marketing user for marketing has a new hire has joined the company, so he is joining the marketing department. So you would add, suppose marketing department has 20 or 30 groups, email groups and security groups. So you're adding that guy to all those one by one, 20 or 30 email groups one by one. Suppose a sales guy got a job somewhere else, and he or she is leaving. So you have to remove him or her to from all security groups or market or email groups. So in large companies, there are each department has 30 or 40 groups. One group for just the SMT or senior management team. One group for just okay Toronto marketing department guys, employees. New York, suppose there's another branch, marketing employees. So you keep creating separate groups for different usage. So it's a hassle to add or remove users from the group. So for large organizations, this is the feature dynamic user, and what does it do? How does it work? So join living. So let me just complete that. Uh, we need a more automated way to add or remove users from groups. And This way also lets us avoid any mistakes of as suppose a marketing guy was mistakenly added to a administration department group or a sales department group, then he or she was then removed from that and then added to the correct one. Anything could happen, right? So how does it all work? So here, when we talk about so there's a group here, and that is marketing group, and you want to suppose there are like so the org has suppose the company has 100 K users, so that's 100,000 users, right? That's huge amount of users. And so with this amount of users, you need to have some automated solution. So what you do is this dynamic user feature checks the 80 users active directory profile information, and according to that adds the user to specific group. Now, example of that would be suppose a user is, for example, a user is IE. We put in the department value, put in the department window the word sales. So we can tell the dynamic user, there's a word query. This is the feature we're going to use now. Query that whichever user is in the department, whichever user has the word sales in the department window, please add that user automatically to this group. Suppose you're creating a group for sales department, and in the query, dynamic user query, you have to just type, you have to tell the query, go check the Active Directory and check the user profiles and check if in the department window of that user, sales is written. If you find sales word exactly like with the spellings, automatically add that user to the security group. Let me show you what I mean by that. And obviously, we're going to do a lab now. So if I go to this, I'll duplicate that quickly. So Rita says here, are they guest vendor? No. So these are normal users. These are regular users. So here, users, if I go there and I go to Adele, suppose, and edit properties, so the department window here, department is this. So it's retail here. So suppose I say that whichever user's department window has a value sales, add those users. I'm going to click save here. Add those users. I'm going to go back to that other window. Whatever group we are creating and whatever query, and that's the query we're putting here. Suppose this is sales department Toronto. So Toronto. Okay. So all the employees of Toronto which are in sales department. Now, suppose there are actually 10,000 users in sales department because the company is very big. 10,000 users, if you manually have to add each user into different groups, that would be a big problem. So how about you tell that, hey, in order to add the users to as a member, the sales department Toronto group, I'm going to now show you the query as well, how it looks like. That you have to tell the query, check for department. It can also check for country. It can also check for company name. Whoever's company name is this, whoever's city is this, whoever's account is enabled. So there are many other queries. Job title is this, mail nickname is this, or whoever's mobile number is this. Wow, mobile number is unique for everyone, right? Anyway, so example is whoever's department is equal to, contains or equals sales. So now this query will check the whole Active Directory of suppose 100,000 users, and suppose there were 10,000 users who are in sales department. So whichever users department window has the word sales, it will automatically add those users to this security group. So this is for very large scale that you have to then run for. You have to configure query here, right? It's pretty straightforward. Whatever value, suppose there's a user here. She was migrated. She was told that, okay, from now on, you're not in sales department. You're going to be in marketing department. Now that query had already added Adele to sales department because the department window had the value sales. No, somebody actually changed it to marketing because she actually changed the department to marketing. Now, if there's another security group which has that query that whoever's department window is has the value marketing, add him or her directly to that security group. So automatically, as soon as you put the word marketing and click save, the other query will add that user directly to that security group, which was looking for any user having this value. Right? Also, suppose this user is still in sales, but somehow someone actually put sales 1 by mistake. Some typo happened. So obviously that query will keep on searching and it has to match exactly sales. Sales 1, it will not recognize, and it will simply not add this user to this. So whatever you type in the query, that word has to be exactly the same here as well. Then this user will be automatically added to that security group. This is for very large organizations. This is very useful. Otherwise, adding manually is nightmare. So Jamin says in the chat, sir, will it replicate the change on-prem as well? This change would impact on-prem users. So the security group related information on-prem. If it was created in on-prem, then yes, it will be replicated to the other side. If the right pack is enabled, yes, then it should be. If the security group exists in both places, yes, it will do that too. It should be doing that. So that's interesting. And first of all, let's just check that if does it even work here, because sometimes, very few times, it happened that everything was correct and then it was not. So will it leave? So another comment in the chat is, will it leave old group immediately? Well, the query actually, it's not a SQL query, rather. But first question is, will it leave the group immediately? So query searches every 5 minutes. That was supposed to be the time, but I need to check if they've changed that. And so not immediately. So every 5 to 10 minutes, actually. I need to actually check that when the query happens. There's a time. Otherwise, if the query keeps on searching, that will add to the overall load on the CPU and memory. Okay, Radha says in chat, is this SQL query in the backend? So it's not a SQL query, first of all. It's just a query here because we are not using a SQL server or database server. So it's just a search query by Active Directory. And yes, it works in that backend. Okay, so the concept should be very straightforward and clear. That it just simply searches, what we tell it to search. And it's also, you want to suppose add many other users as well who may not be from the sales department but still needs to be added to the security group. So you can add another one and another one, and also check for display name, also check for city name, also check for this name, that name, and add those guys as well. Right now, you get the point. If this works, obviously, then all the other queries also works. This is the way it works. That's what we need to know. Okay.
So I
So,
had a question. Like in case of Ariel, like we moved right from sales to marketing, and then she's added to the marketing, right? Does it mean that she's automatically removed from sales?
yes. As soon as you remove the word and click save, it's gone.
She's removed from the. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And whichever word you put, if there's a query for that, it automatically gets added there in a certain minutes. Okay. Guys, this is kind of it. So what we can do is a discard, and I was gonna actually do that, but now if you're following, I'm following. So we put sales department Toronto here, and description whatever you want to type there. Not giving any role to this security group, so we're not putting yes here, and then we have chosen dynamic user. And so here, then I'm going for no owners selected. So I'm just going to go and whoever is currently logged in user. So I'll just add that user here as the owner select, but the query is going to put the same thing. But now I need to actually check. I need to go to the other duplicate. I need to check that how many users have the sales department. So I went to the first user here, Adele, and selected. I need to make sure that I put few users in the sales department now. Yeah. So there's a comment in the chat. Vijay says, can you also manually add users to dynamic groups? Will the query affect the new manual addition? So manual, no, that's the thing. Now when I create that group, there will be no way to add manually. So this is the only way you can add any user in a dynamic user group. We cannot add manually one in this group. Now when I create that, you will see that. So it's only by query. Right? Otherwise, you can create another group where you want to. So either manual or dynamic. They both are not into one group. So I'm just gonna quickly check that. What is the sales? SALES. I just want to make sure the spellings are also correct. Go for another user here, and Alex Wilbur is sales or not? Oh, edit properties. So, 3 users I just need just to show. Oh, he's on marketing. So yeah, just because I'm doing for sales now the app, so I'll just 2 or 3 users I need. Users and also Diego, added properties, just 2 or 3 random users. He's in HR, so I'll put him in sales and save. That's it. 3 users. I've made sure that they are. If any other user are already on sales, that's another thing. I could have just seen in the column as well. Anyway, if I go there, don't show department, right? I want to see the department. So what do? I would go to manage view and edit columns. I want to see everyone's department, right? I go to manage view and edit columns. And then I will click add column. And there I'll drop down to department. So I'll add it. Another column I'm adding here, department. I'll click save. And I would want to see everyone's department. There you go. So sales. Oh, there's another sales. Engineering, legal, manufacturing, retail, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so this is the department column that I just added to know that, okay, who's in which department. Just for my knowledge, but not for the query. Query just does it of course, automatically. Okay, I'm going to go back here. I know that 4 users are in sales. So I'm expecting 4 members to be here in this security group after the query and simply saving it. After some time, I'm expecting 4 members to be there. It's not doing anything manually here.
Sir,
Yeah.
where is the edit key? Because you're doing very fast. I didn't see the edit
We're done.
button.
Okay. So see this? When you click the user, this is the one.
Oh, okay.
Right? And department here. So yeah, here And so I'm going to go for add dynamic query, which I showed you. I'm just going to do that now. It's pretty straightforward. Select the department here for property. Operator, select anything here, contains or equals, both will work for this particular one. And then it could be very complicated query as well. But here we're just going for sales. You know, just to make sure it's not case sensitive, I'm going to change the case here to lowercase for S. While I know that in the user's profile in the department window, we have capital S there. I'm going to put here small s just to check. It's not supposed to go for, it should not be case sensitive. It should not be. But let's see if it is. So this is just a test. So there should be 4 members now. I'm going to click save here. That's all. And it says rule syntax user.department space minus contains or hyphen contains sales. So that's the PowerShell part of it. So I'm going to click save. So this is all, and click E and 8. Now right away I'm not expecting anything, but refresh, and one day, Monday or Sunday, sales department, I'm gonna click that. And how many members? Oh, 3 members. Are you kidding me? It's members. So there you go. Rita, Grady, and Diego. Dell is not there, but 3 members are already there. I did not add manually anyone. Right? So, oh, seriously, there's add members here. It was not supposed to be there. Is this the sales department that I just configured? Okay, let me check the query here. Or is it the regular one? Because query is supposed to be showing here. And there was another group by the same name. Sales and sales department Toronto. That's why there was a sales department by default. This is not ours. This is the one that I created just now. Sales department Toronto. That one was Microsoft 365. So members, yeah, dynamic membership rules. So yeah, I cannot add members here. It's just dynamic query. So sales department Toronto. So Jamie says in the chat, can we give multiple values, example sales, sales 1 to cover all if exists? So you can add a second expression, second line, that if sales 1 is also there, look for that too. Then third line. Okay, cool. Guys, refresh. So yeah, background search, let it do its work. There you go. It did it. Okay. Yeah, that was like 2 minutes, and it's pretty much done. Yeah, that many users were there. Sales. So I didn't add any one of those. I cannot actually add because that members is disabled, and I can always change the query. I can always come back here and change the query as well. Suppose all the company employees you want to add, then yeah, you'd add some more sophisticated query, or you can just add all the departments. Just learn more here, right? So there are rules here. Quickly learn more and then go ahead, take down. This is the concept that I wanted to show, but you can dig deeper, and so any contains control. So they can tell you much more, more complicated queries as well, and you can see that it's showing user.city.country and the value, or user object ID. So you can search by anything. That's dynamic query. I'll just put that link here now in the WhatsApp. So how dynamic query works in security group. I'll put the link in the chat. Okay, Booker was saying, okay, so I'll put it here as well. And so here is security group dynamic query. Okay. Let's go ahead. So it's in WebEx chat as well and WhatsApp chat. So then we're going to go for more things.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yep.
Sales department Toronto, the group has been created, but
Uh-huh.
the users are zero.
Refresh, keep refreshing and make sure the query should be exactly like this, and it's pretty straightforward. I'm sure you're correct. Yeah, you just have to wait a little.
I said operator is equal to equals.
Oh, equals. Then make sure that the spellings are. Then in equals, it might be going for case sensitive if you went for also lowercase s. Uh, change the equals to contains and then try it. Try it. So just open the sales group and then go to dynamic query again, and then just change that contains equals to contains. Says in chat, sir, user added to new group, but user also do not want to leave old group as well. How to achieve that? Then you have to make not all the users. Then you have to add this group to another node that would add all the users. Just that particular user you want to add. Dynamic query might have there's a user as well, so contains, so just the user as well. There's a query, I think, that was just talking about this surname. Yeah, there is name there, right? So also add this particular name. So each user will have unique name, right? So given name or employee ID, yes, just add the employee ID. So that particular one employee will be added as well, this query. So that's why there's a variety of query here. And that's a very good scenario. There are many other, actually hundreds of scenarios. So keep trying that as well. And user principal name, there you go. So just put the actual Alan.read. Just want Alan.read to be added as well. So, but there should not be another query. There's already adding that guy somewhere else. Actually, there can be, because the query might be putting Alan Reed having marketing department to another security group. You're saying that, hey, I want Alan Reed, specifically just that user, get it here as well. Yeah, you can go ahead and experiment all that, right? Yes, we can pull any one user as well. Any one, that's why there's a user ID based as well, or username as well, because it's all unique. Just one is throughout the company. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna go ahead and then we're gonna go for, guys, there's one more thing here, and that is a bit more tricky, and that is dynamic device. So dynamic devices, suppose you have thousands of Windows 10s and 11, and you want all of them to be part of that group. So suppose, first of all, I need to have devices, right? I don't have that even. So suppose I go here to the Azure Active Directory. Do I even have devices? How do I know that? So I'm going to go to all users. And suppose I go for just the users, or there's a devices here in Active Directory also showing. In fact, I'll go to devices instead of users. Devices and all devices. Did any forward device got registered? No, not the device got registered with Azure Active Directory. How to register the device with Active Directory? Just like Raphael did. So we can add the device to Azure Active Directory as well. But because they're added, so they are already added to the local Windows 11 is already joined to the domain there. So there's a specific procedure for adding a device, but how a device shows up here if it was directly connected here would be, let me just quickly show that like in the work school. So if I go to settings here, this settings, just like I was doing with Raphael machine, or I was saying that, hey, you directly join to the Azure Active Directory. So that is the thing, accounts, then work or school, and then you just have to add the domain here. you have to connect with the Active Directory. So this user with which you're logged in, or whichever is the domain name of that user, right? So when you log in from your Windows 11 here, work or school, with your Azure Active Directory account, the device gets registered. I just wanted to show you one more thing, how to add the device. Still a bit more tricky. So it's not that easy that you add the user and its device gets added. So how about I'll just disconnect this device from other domains and quickly add my actual Windows from which I'm running this class. I'll try to add this just to show you the procedure. If you want to register this device to Azure Active Directory, what's the procedure? So this is biryani. Disconnect this account. Disconnected. Okay, gone. So I want to connect my laptop. Wow. What is my English going for? So I'm going to click the connect, and it's going to ask for work or school account. Here, I need to give my ID here. So local logged in username, right? So I'm going to go to all users. I need to catch my email address, copy and paste there. And obviously I need to know my password. So I'm just there it is, the long name, email or user principal name, we can say UPN. I'll switch back to the setup work or school account. Okay, there we go. Okay. So this is my Azure Active Directory account. I click next. Also went wrong here are some possible reasons. Your device is already connected to your device. Yeah, you don't have enough privileges to perform this operation. Please talk to your admin. This is the first one. My device is actually already added there. But if we have this guy here, VMware Workstation, I hope I have my Windows 11 there. So I can quickly connect a VMware Workstation Windows 11 there. Oh yeah, I have it. Or your Windows 10 actually. So that should show us. Can I show my VM? Yeah, you can show your VM, but your VM is already joined to the local domain. I need some Windows that is not joined to the local domain, right? So why? Because I just want to show this process, that how to add a device to a security group, because it's a bit tricky, right? So it's a bit tricky. Spare Windows as well. Oh, okay. Which is not joined to the local domain. Then yeah, let's switch. So you have that. Let's switch, and you can show your screen. So what I want to show is that how to add. So go to that Windows which is not joined to the local domain, and that is supposed to be Windows 10 or 11, a client machine. Even not iOS, Android, that would be different. So you're getting a new device. I have already available, Jimin. So it's pretty much the same thing, right? So it's already put on. So and it's not joined to the domain. So, but if you don't have it, it's okay. Doesn't matter. Or when it is ready, let me know. Until then, I'm just checking my Oh, okay. This is good. This my device is ready to be joined to some domain, either the first one or the second one. I'm gonna join to the Azure Active Directory. Okay? So you don't have it, right? Okay. I'm gonna share my screen now. And quickly here, how to join Windows 10, 11 to Azure AD in the cloud. Also, okay, actually that's not the actual query. How to add our device to security group? That's the actual query. So let's also see and how to join. So that's what's going on right now. Obviously, you have to have some device in Azure Active Directory for you to see that how to add it to the group. That's where the whole story started. I'm gonna quickly, because I do that, I have done that in the company. You will have to do that to your setup. So that will be the case. Let me quickly do that now. So, and there you go. So I'm just gonna quickly try to register this with Active Directory, and oh, seriously, don't ask for a Wi-Fi connection, please, please, please. Are you not my friend? Oh, well, if it takes time, that's gonna be embarrassing. But just one device adding there would show you that you need to actually have the device object ID. But I just wanted to show you that how to add that object ID. It's a bit tricky. But this is also tricky now. Seriously. What is this? That's also Windows 10. This is 2 GB. Okay. Oh, serious. It's not okay. Anyway, so I'm just pressing yes here. It's on the next screen. Skip. Okay, now we're good. Oh, you're saying yours will be ready in 5 minutes? Ah, now I have some important setup to do. Yeah, important setup coming. Yeah, excited. Wait for it. For ah, they change its RAM. It's gonna. Man, this is so stupid. I mean, we should have very good machines. Really? No, that does not change the health of this machine.
So can we add the RAM while the machine is on?
And we add the RAM. Yeah, it does not really disrupt anything. But if there's very sensitive connectivity going on between something on the machine and somewhere else, then we don't do that. Some process going on the machine do not probably get restricted when we add the RAM. It's but it detects it when we restart it, so no benefit. Uh, oh, serious. Okay, that was a mistake as well. My machine
So
is too
are you
slow.
creating a new one?
No, it is already installed. It's a new one. It just needs to join to the domain, but it's not reaching that window for me to tell it to sit back and relax while we work our magic. Sure. Seriously.
And
Yeah.
and how we can make a copy of the virtual machine? Like if I
Well,
once that machine is ready,
you have to
if I
shut down. You have to shut down the machine and then click clone. So yeah, the machine has to be shut down, and then
it,
right click here, manage, and there's a clone. That makes a copy. Then you have to do sys prep as well. Yes. Jamin says in chat. Oh man, seriously, so frustrating.
Sir, when you clone a machine, all the settings are cloned. Names it's different, right?
Clone is exact copy, but that machine, if you want to make it unique on the network, its SID or security identifier has to be new. For that, you
Mm.
run a specific command called sysprep, specific utility called sysprep. So first, you clone the machine, you power it on, you log in, and then you run sysprep on it, and then it becomes unique over the network, and it
Okay.
can join the domain as well.
So we have client 01, and if you clone it, then there will be another client 01.
Yes, exactly. But
Oh,
they won't be able to come on the network together because they will have same SID, security identifier, SID. You have to make that SID unique. For that, you run a utility called SYS PREP sysprep. It's also in the chat. You can put there. That sysprep utility makes it unique then. After you clone it and start it and log in and then run sysprep, restart again, it becomes unique. Then both machines can work together.
Can you
Okay.
show us that process?
So instead of making another machine from scratch, we can just clone 0901 and then do the sysprep and then rename it into client 02.
Yes, you can do that too. You don't have to then reinstall the whole machine. And yeah, showing the process, Raza. I have videos for that. I will show you because I used to do that. We used to do that to create Windows environment when MCSA certifications I used to teach. So a lot of videos are there that I will search and share with you how to make a clone and make it unique. Okay, guys, here, setup for an organization, it says here, I'm going to click that and next. And setup for organization. Now it's going to ask for work or school account. So I'm just going to use that, my Azure Active Directory account. I'll copy that again. I don't think it's going to take copy now here. So I'll just write the whole thing. I'm going to admin at 0xbsc, 0xbsc.onmatserver, 0xbsc. Oh, here we go. See this? Work or school account. So I'm here admin at 0xbsc.onmicrosoft.com. It's not case sensitive. I'm just putting to understand spellings or make sure that spellings are correct. Once you put that there, the Azure Active Directory and click next, then it asks for a password. And I think it was small ABC, capital ABC, shape 4, small ABC. I put small ABC, capital ABC, shape 123 without shape 123. Yeah. Hopefully that was my password. It's hitting me. I changed my password. Seriously. I think BNM.
The B&M, sir. I think so, yeah.
Oh, thank God. Right. Yeah, it's small BNM, capital BNM. You kidding me?
1234.
Did I put that? Are you sure? No, it was never 1, 2, 3. I never put 1, 2, 3, 4. There was normally what I go for is then if it's not BNM, then I go for also IOP, capital IOP, just the the side letters, the keyboard inside.
Is this a domain admin PN?
Azure Directory. Okay. Okay. So your email password is incorrect. If you don't remember your password, reset now. Admin. You're a key thing to me. Tell me you're a key thing to me.
You can reset also.
Exactly. I'm gonna reset the global admin account now quickly.
So last time when we were putting this, you asked us to save the password in a notepad.
Oh
Didn't you do
yeah,
that?
but that notepad is that day was gone. Yeah, there's another way. Thank you for the helping, but I have a global GA account that is also very strong. It has all the privileges. It's global admin, right? So I'll just simply reset it because I'm not using it for anything else right now. So reset password armor GA1. So yeah, Basa. Oh, Basa fish. You like it, right? Okay. So Basa, and there is this. Now I'll be good. Okay. Let me just do that because the process is going a bit longer, but that tricky part I just wanted to show seriously in groups. So now I'll just quickly go for this. So it's back and the domain is the same. In fact, is the domain same? Yeah. America. Okay. That means in Urdu Hindi, it means sing. So America. Okay. Go. Move it. Okay, what is that? Basa fish. So Basa 6228 and capital BASA 6228.
Counselor.
BASA 6228. Basa 6228. Okay. Current password, we need to change that too. Okay. Basa 6228. And then, okay. BNM. So BNM1. BNM small, BNM caps. Shift 123 without shift 123. Let's go, 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 go. Move it, move it, move it, move it. Move it, soldier. Okay, go, 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 go. Now it should register my device to my Azure Active Directory. And most probably it's not gonna ask any question other than the user related questions. I can just go to, okay, yeah, it's asking, yeah, apps, your location, no, accept. These are just simple question, no for the link, and send required data only, not extra diagnostic data. And oh, that was the ink and typing. If it's a touch screen, get tailored experience. No, I don't want tailoring. My, you know, shirt is okay. And we don't want advertising, so accept. Go, 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 go. So yeah, it's gonna try to configure that, but I'm gonna check that if that device, this device, particular device is now showing up there in Azure Active Directory or not. So will we join an Azure? So Jimin says, can we not do both local domain join and Azure? Actually, there's a procedure for that. I need to check that. There is a procedure for adding all the locally joined Active Directory, on-premises Active Directory joined devices to be showing up there in the cloud. But that procedure I need to Google and check. I think it's a time-consuming procedure, but I wanted to actually. So that procedure I need to. You can also check, and then we can do that too. But right now, let me just show you what I wanted to show right now. Okay, so in Azure Active Directory, is this device showing now or not? Right? Okay, thank you, Jamin. So you can check. Oh, unmanaged device. I see one device now here. Unmanaged device. Or if I go to all devices, there you go. So this is that device, AzureAD joined. This is directly joined to the cloud, the on-premises device, but it is unmanaged because Intune is not there. So Intune is an upcoming course. Then you're going to know that what Intune will do with this device or any device. Okay, right now it's showing. I want to add this device now. Back to my topic. What was the topic? Topic was that how to add a device to security group. So it's also unique. We add a device, this object ID to the security group with the import bulk import devices or import device bulk import device function. Device function. Okay. Let me show you quickly. You need to grab object ID. If you want a device to be part of the security group, you need to grab its object ID and add it to the security group with the bulk operation. So that's kind of key. So let me just show you quickly how. Yeah, this is just Windows Hello, which lets you use the pin as well. That you can just put a pin and put a password there for security, right? So Jimmy says, sir, joining device or registering device, both are same or different? No, join device, registered device are a bit different. Registered device does not have, when you have Intune. So Intune is not very powerful in putting all the policies to register devices, but join devices, it is able to put that. So joining devices is more powerful, and you will know when the Intune course starts. So here, I'm just going to quickly go ahead and go to the group. See this? I was going for a group, right? Dynamic device. Now, group name is company devices. Suppose you have company devices here, and I'm putting here also group description. I don't need to give any role here. Assigned is dynamic device now. Owner is the currently logged in user, and add a dynamic query. So for the device, what would you add? So obviously I would have given it a proper name, and from that name I would have added it. So when I'm saying that how to add a device, I can go for just the assigned security group and show you that way as well. But since I'm on the query first, let me just show you query. I mean, not very powerful here right now because I didn't put a proper name there. So how could you really detect a device? Device OS type. Suppose I go for if the operating system is contains, and if it is Windows, I need to check from the learn more what is the value of the Windows. Do I just put Windows here, or do I put something specific there that actually shows device manufacturer? Okay, manufacturer, model, is a laptop, desktop, ownership. So these are all the organizational unit, device ID, physical ID, system label. It keeps going, right? So if I go for manufacturer is Microsoft, equals Microsoft, but I can put that too. But let me show you the manual way, because suppose you want to add few devices there. In production environment, what I did was I went for display name. No, actually not display name. I went for device. It was a bit tricky as well because all our devices start with a company logo name, company start name. So I just put those 3 letters there, which we put in the start of every device in our company. So I put those 3 letters there and it detected all the company devices in one query right away. All the devices were showing. So you have to just be very creative here. That device name, if it starts with, and then I put that first 3 letters, because all our devices start with those first 3 letters. Suppose it's XYZ, XYZ-1, XYZ-2, XYZ-3 for all laptop 1, laptop 2, laptop 3, right? I just put whichever device name starts with XYZ. So it collected all the devices. So it's pretty simple query. But let me show you quickly also if you had to add, and I had to do that. I had to add few machines, not all machines, right? So all machines also include then machines that we don't want actually in the group. If you want to go for few machines, then you have to go for assigned. Then there's no member selected now, obviously. So I'm going to click create that group, security company devices. Then I'm going to go quickly there to the company devices once it is created. And let me show you quickly how to add that so we can go ahead. This has taken more time than I thought. Company devices. Okay, do you see that? No. Fresh. Oh, there you go. Company devices, and then members, and then bulk operations. Guys, you should do try this at home, right? There's import members here, right? So it's just one device. But it could be always the case that you would have more than one devices, right? Import members, and then you have to download the CV template. And oh, okay. How would I get the object ID? So okay, this is a group import members template. I'm gonna save that. Downloads. It's downloaded here. Because I need to add the object ID of this device, then I will upload it here, and then it should appear here for some time or quickly, depends on the mood. So it says here, see this member object ID. Member, this is the word. Just add devices object ID. That's what you need to know. Okay. Where's the object ID for the device I added here? So if I go here, okay, I see a device added here. I'm gonna go click further device, and the object ID should be here. There you go, object ID, right? So just copy the object ID of the device, and oh yeah, it's in the file, right? I'm just gonna simply place. So example, I'll just remove the example, and is the actual object ID. That's it. And save. That's it, and close because I want to upload it. So one object ID added and uploaded, or 200 object IDs added and uploaded. So that's up to you. But this is how you can add specific devices. So this file uploaded successfully. It checked it. Submit. So Now, suppose there were 200 devices, laptops, that you've added here. You can add this security group to any restriction. You want to add this security group anywhere where those 200 devices want to put some kind of other policies there, right? But adding the device to a security group is always the main in there. Once they are added, that's it. Use that security group to put restrictions on the devices or send some updates on the devices, and there you go. So the device shows up now. Right? So this is what I wanted to show you, that how to add a device to
Sir,
yeah,
where did we get the object ID from?
just click the device. If the device shows in Active Directory, so see this, I'm in Azure Active Directory, right? In the devices, all devices. If it shows there first, then just simply click on the device, and Azure Active Directory would have assigned device ID, object ID, and it would have given the information or taken the information from the device. So yes, we can go with manufacturer as well, version number as well, query. I think manufacturer is not the compliant, no registered, activity group, whatever is there, join type, AzureAD join. So you can put a query there, dynamic device, join type, and then whichever device has this written, it will automatically pick up all those devices. So yes, dynamic query would also work with this one without even policy. But I just copied this dude here. One, right click, copy, and then the import process of the security group, which is here. So this this process is now in the video as well, so you can also always review that following the video. So object ID once added there, now when I went to company devices, then members, and then bulk operations, then import members, and this is how I imported the device. Okay, so guys, this was dynamic user how to add and dynamic device how to add as well. And just the major steps here, you need to grab the object ID to the security group. But obviously, first make sure the device shows in AzureAD the devices section. Then click on the device and then click device. We have device and grab object ID. That's it. Otherwise, grab object ID. Then do the thing, right? Through bulk operation import device. So that's the whole main steps for this. Okay. So Jamie says, so what are we trying to achieve here by adding device to groups? I'm still confused. Yeah, so what I had to do in the company, I needed to add 70 plus devices, and I need to push new Windows patches to those devices. There were some devices that I didn't want to add as well. So I had to go through this process of getting these object IDs for all the devices that I wanted to add, and then I put it in the Intune patch management group. So Intune is now automatically sending Windows updates these specific devices. So instead of adding one device, second device, third device, fourth device, the Intune application, so it could send updates automatically, I just added all the devices to the security group, just added the security group there in Intune. Now that security group I can add anywhere else, and it will be so much time saved if I already have a security group of containing all the company devices. Okay. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and so here, company devices, I'll go to groups. So this is about groups that I wanted to show. There are three types here for the assigned, and then Microsoft 365 we already configured in previous class. So other than that, Yeah, so this we already talked about. Now I'm just gonna, so these are the groups. If you delete a group, deleted groups remain there for 30 days. And after 30 days, they are then permanently deleted. They're permanently deleted then after 30 days. Okay, other than that, so other than that, there's group settings. So group settings are there as well. Self-service group management. Owners can manage group membership requests in my groups. So whoever you made the owner should be able to add or remove people. So suppose it's a secretary of marketing department. She's handling a lot of groups there. Right? Then you can actually put yes for, suppose you have only given that access to or that privilege to only the secretary of, and he or she is very security or tech savvy, which he knows how to add and remove users, right? Then you can just press yes here, up to you, or you can just do it yourself. That who wants to be added to the group, who doesn't, please put a ticket, and IT desk will do that, right? Restrict user ability to access groups features in my groups. So users' ability to access group features. So do you want end users to be doing some of your work? You could concentrate on other job as well, or not, right? So it's up to you. It's up to your company policy that how much. The big companies do that. They press yes to these two. So yes, let the end users do something with the groups. They can manage their own groups because there are hundreds or sometimes thousands of groups there. And if only group related queries come to you, then that's a lot of tickets already, and you have so much more other things to do as well. Then there's security groups. Users can create security groups in Azure portals, API or PowerShell. I don't think so. Well, in security groups in not Azure portal, but in the Outlook, right? They can create security groups. Allow them to create security groups in Outlook, but not any other way. So I would keep it no. Microsoft 365 groups. Users can create Microsoft 365 groups in Azure portal. No, end users should not be coming to Azure portal. So we're saying that let the users come to this admin center, and in portal they can do that. So there's Exchange server here, right? So, and this is for just admins. But Azure portal also can mean that they can just connect to Outlook from browser. So this is your obviously whole Exchange server, and end users has nothing to know. You are not supposed to be here. Right? So that's two far-fetched features that okay, why should we let the users be going for that? Okay. Anyway, so keep and it is yes here. API PowerShell. Suppose it's a small company and you have only developers there, right? In that case, yes, but otherwise, I would go for no here. And battery-wide groups. So I would let users create groups in. So where am I saying here that I would create users? So suppose a user logs in to Microsoft 365, right? So here she sees, okay, I logged in now. So here she connects to Outlook. Now that is just users' own Outlook opened in the browser. Here, users can create groups as well. New group. I'm an admin, so obviously I can create group, but end users, majority of the time, places, users can create their own group. Oh, I want to just add my 2 or 3 colleagues in one vendor. So should the user be giving a ticket to you? You should be creating that, and user waiting. And although there is an SLA, service level agreement, you have to finish ticket in 2 hours, 3 hours. So that much time, or user can do it him or herself, right? So from Outlook, here you can create groups as well, or let users do that. And big companies let users do that with certain restrictions. So here, I'm back to Azure Active Directory. And yeah, these are the settings that, sometimes, so you have to go through all this, that what users are allowed to do by Microsoft default. So never leave any setting by default. Because some of the settings are kind of ridiculous even, but you won't be allowing those settings, or you won't be giving those privileges to end users. Sometimes they are default settings. So you have to go through all the settings and make corners of all these settings here. I'm going to click save here because I made one change here only. And this is what I would do, right? And then expiration can expire. Renewal notifications are emailed to group owners 30 days, 15 days, and 1 day prior to group expiration. So group can expire as well. I did not enable that in my company. You can actually expire groups as well. So, there are groups created for last 10 years, and we don't know if they are ever used. And many of the groups I discovered in my IAM project, Identity and Access Management project, when I was doing in my company, I discovered that many groups that were created 4 years, 3 years, they were not being used at all now. Activity at all. This activity was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So, you can expand the group, but those who are creating the groups, maybe they are creating it for just one project. So for the length of the project, you can customize here and come for custom date otherwise, but this is for all groups. This is the whole group setting. So most probably you won't see this configured unless you have some specific processes there that, hey, you don't want to have all created groups to be there for years and years and years and years, right? So that's how it is. And naming policy for the group. So suppose somebody says you've given the clients or end users to create groups, right? Suppose somebody names it Cool Dude Group, right? Or Samosa Lovers Group. Now in the company, when somebody's higher management or CEO is going through the groups, oh, I want to check that, and then, whoa, what is this Cool Dude Group? Oh, Samosa Lovers? Baby Lovers? Seriously? Sweet Lovers? So is this Facebook or what? So yeah, company admins would not like that. So you can just put some restrictions there as well. Hey, you can't just create, those groups that we create outside in social media with those names. So Paul says in the chat, can you put notification to expire inactive group? Also, what's going to happen to expire group? They will not. They will be expired. They will be disabled. They cannot be used. But notification to expire inactive group. Now that's a very good idea, that if they show the option, so group lifetime, so renewal notifications are renewed, blah blah blah. Group owners must have exchanged licenses to receive. If a group is not renewed, it is deleted along with it, or it's actually deleted when it's not renewed. It's associated content from sources such as Outlook, SharePoint, Teams, and Power BI. So the thing is that you can put some queries there, but does it say that if it is inactive, expire it? If it says that enable expiration for these Microsoft 365 groups, it doesn't say that, but I think in Exchange there are some rules there or policies there that could be there. There are hundreds of policies there that could be automatically expiring active groups if they're inactive for 2 years, active for 3 years. So this could be a custom query we can create, and it would look for any groups after you schedule it to run every 6 months or every 1 year, and it would look for any groups that have been inactive for more than 2 years with them. But sometimes they are CEO groups or senior management groups, and they have some critical data that they might need access anytime. They would not want them to do it. So it goes then custom. You create a query, you create a script actually, goes for non-critical groups. Label those groups as critical and don't touch them. And yeah, it goes all custom. It's a full customized solution. Okay, Malik says in the chat, is any data saved or linked to the deleted groups lost? For example, any file saved by the group? Oh yeah, the group goes. Anything related to that goes as well. So if the files were saved in OneDrive, because they're in the group, right? So in the background, there's whatever's in the group will be gone. That's for sure. So whatever's in the, maybe it's in the sent items as well, so it will be there. If it's in the OneDrive and you're just giving a link, it will be there. Just the link will be gone, but the actual file will not be gone. So that's Sardis.
Sir, I
And
have a question.
yeah. Mhm.
So suppose so you're making a group and like we have different outlook and they have all the documents, right? So who else can see except like suppose you have a user, he has his own OneDrive and he has all the files over there.
Mhm.
Who else can see that?
Well, whoever is added, or if specifically the user is shared, by sharing you invite the users to see the file. If it was not shared, no one can see that, or whoever it was shared with only can see that, or admins. Admins by default cannot see that, but admins, if they want to, they can see OneDrive files. So see this. If I go to a user here and active users, admins are not supposed to see that, but they have technically they can. They're not supposed to. Legally, they're not supposed to. So if I go to users OneDrive here, I can create link file, and this is only admins can do or user administrators. Then that link, and I'm as an admin entering the OneDrive of that particular user. Only admins can do, users obviously cannot do that. So, but yes,
Only admins can delete it, right?
yes, admins can delete it, or the owner or user can delete it, or whoever the user invited by clicking share button and giving edit rights can delete it as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So here, then Paul says, can an expired group be revived if requested? Yes, this is a related group, Paul. 30 days. In 30 days, store it. Otherwise, bye-bye. Gone. So Raza says in capital font, which means in Raza in chat, you put everything in capital font. This means you're screaming. It means that in the chat. So I tried. So, can we use archive method of deleting? This means in the chat you're screaming right now. Can we use archive method of deleting the crops? This means that when you put everything in capital. So, can we use archive method of deleting the groups? Very good question. No. No. So either you archive or you delete. So there is archive feature available in Exchange if you have the proper license for that. This E5 also supports and please do remind me. Actually, this will be a topic there when we go to the Exchange. This next after Active Directory, this is the Exchange server that I'm going to go for. So I'm going to show you then how to set up an archive. Archive just means you save it for a very long time, right? Then you archive and deleting. If you're saying that first you archive, then after maybe 5 years or 10 years, automatically delete as well. If you mean that, yes, there are policies that we can set, and yes, then we can archive them, and after some specific time, automatically let them be deleted as well. Yes, that is supported, but yeah, we have to go for Exchange server for that. But it is supported, yeah. So those are the questions for the groups. I'm just gonna go back here and here groups devices. So we are actually on the devices now, and we already have added one device. It says managed. It also says non-compliant devices. So because it is Intune application or endpoint management. So if I go to admin center here, admin center, so there is this endpoint manager. Endpoint manager puts some compliance policies and security policies to the devices. After that, they become managed and they become compliant. So obviously this course of endpoint, I'm just going to click that just to show you the interface of the dashboard. But all the devices appear here, and there are so many policies here, endpoint security policies, how to deploy apps on the devices. So this is a crazy course with all the major applications inside. Now, when your devices and there are Windows devices, there's iOS devices, Mac OS, Android. So Windows devices. I have just one device right now. Actually, it's not there because I did not attach Intune or Endpoint Manager is Intune, right? Say this Intune. Intune to Microsoft properly. We haven't configured that. So the device is not showing here. And compliance policies, many of those policies are there. Hundreds of configuration policies are there. PowerShell scripts you can deploy here, and you can then patch those devices here. So when we are on Intune, then I'm gonna show you how to do that, how to register a device. So right now it's gonna show that thing. So it's not going. It's gonna still show that it's not compliant and it's not managed. Okay. So and then all devices. So Jenny says in the chat, this user and groups here in Intune is same as in MSAT. Yes, exactly. In Intune, we saw groups area there. So yes, this is just retrieved from Azure Active Directory. Okay, so here devices overview and all devices. We cannot do much here for the devices other than register them like this. There's not much here. Okay, BitLocker key, yes, you can retrieve from here. BitLocker key, what is BitLocker? Anyone knows? What is BitLocker?
This is a encryption or
With BitLocker, yeah, Paul says as well, encryption. So you can encrypt a full device or disk with BitLocker, and this is very important as well. It creates, yeah. So encryption of the physical disk or hardware, and then if that disk is, suppose stolen from the laptop, so laptop disk, right? So images. Yeah, the disk in the laptop is fully formatted. Suppose there's a lot of data. Suppose this is 1 TB disk. There's a lot of data inside. So BitLocker encrypts it all, and there's an encryption key that it saves in the TPM chip. So if I go for motherboard TPM chip, not chill. So that is so that in the full motherboard there's a chip that is TPM, Trusted Platform Module. So what happens is, so it's like a chip like this, right, in the motherboard. So or a chip like this. What happens is when you encrypt a disk, so the full disk is encrypted, which means that it is not readable. It is garbage. It is mumble jumbled. So no, if somebody steals it and does not have that decryption key for it, then the person cannot read any data on the disk unless the person decrypts. But the encryption decryption key is not in the disk. It's always in the laptop motherboard inside a chipset that looks like this, and it is called TPM or Trusted Platform Module. TPM, Trusted Platform Module. So obviously, if the disk is stolen from a laptop and the whole laptop was not stolen, so the decryption and encryption key was actually in the laptop. So whoever steals the disk cannot really read it because the encryption decryption key is actually saved in the motherboard chip called TPM, Trusted Platform Module. Right. So this is all where BitLocker comes in. It just encrypts your disk. So if you need BitLocker ID, this happens to us a lot, or anyone in the company. So during pandemic also, that users were saying that, sometimes it happens, not a lot actually, that users cannot log in and they forgot their PIN, or they were putting the wrong PIN. And then it was saying that, hey, now you have to give your BitLocker recovery key, and then we will let you in. So otherwise it is encrypted because the user was giving wrong PIN login. So it just simply says, okay, maybe it's a hacker attempt. So what happens is that you go to all devices. Suppose the user of this device actually called me, hey, it is asking for decryption, BitLocker decryption key. So then I call the user to make sure that it's our user or it's a hacker. And then Normally the BitLocker key and recovery, local administrator password recovery or BitLocker key recovery comes at the bottom of here. If it is actually BitLocker encrypted, then the key appears here in the bottom. And recovery key, you click that, it's a pretty long recovery key. And a few times I had to, text the user this key, and then the user had to type the whole punishing, very long key like this here in the laptop, and then the user was given access again. So that BitLocker recovery key is always there with a proper laptop. This is just a virtual machine, so that's why it's not showing here. So if I go back to the devices, yeah, we were talking about all devices and device settings here. And in the device settings, you can see you want to join the device to the Active Directory. Users may join devices to Active Directory. This is active to all, which is okay. Like, I just logged in from that Windows with the Active Directory Azure Directory user. So because of this logging in, the device was registered. So this option is okay unless you don't want it. You want certain users when they log in from Active Directory account from laptop the first time that their laptop will be registered with Active Directory. So selected users or none, it's up to you. So we have coded to this all. Whichever user is logged in, his or her device will be automatically added to your Active Directory. So other than that, users may register their devices with AzureAD. This is already all, and when they log in, it gets registered as well. Require multi-factor authentication to register or join devices with AzureAD. This is good security measure, but sometimes end users are during pandemic. We had to be careful that users are at home, right? And even one occasion I said that, okay, I'm gonna come to your home and I'm gonna fix that because there's no other way, and you can come in the office or I can come home. For a very specific user, it was very urgent, and that was a very business critical work she was doing. She said, no, I don't allow my colleagues to be coming to my home. I was like, whoa, okay, yeah, this also happens. Okay, yeah, and that managers also agreed with that. Then we don't have to put some remote features there where it's going to be a hurdle if it's something business critical going on. Otherwise, it's a security measure that when the users are adding a device, there should be multi-factor authentication as well. But yeah, we have to be careful what we're doing. There's now a lot of remoting going on now with end users. The number of devices per user, this is ridiculous. 50 devices, are you kidding me? One user can log in from Azure Active Directory account 5 devices, not 50. You must change it. If you haven't visited, you're the administrator and you haven't visited this option as well, this is ridiculous. So user can actually connect from 50 devices by default. Seriously, are you kidding me? Minimum is 5 number here, but if it was 2 or 3, I would have gone for 2. There are many other policies with which you can restrict users that, hey, you can only connect from this device and that device. That's it. So, but maximum user can have 5. So make sure that it is 5. So I've checked this setting here. So I'm going to click, I'm going to go with others and then click save. So manage additional local administrators on all AzureAD joined devices. So how many local administrators you want to have in your end user devices? This is my laptop, right? So if I go to user, give me user setting. Is change user control. I hate this. I kind of forgot that email. Okay, so yeah, the thing is that users or machines have local administrator username passwords as well, right? So if I go to this actually device, it's multi-factor authentication. So that's good. Let me just log into this. So local administrators on the devices are it's expired now. So cancel. Let me go ahead. So the thing is that local users and administrators, let's just click that again and it will ask me again now, I guess. So yeah, text. And it's 678 641 678 641. So what I'm trying to say here is, how does a local administrator look like? Where do you access that local administrator? So that's why I'm just trying to log in from one device here now. It's pretty much ready now. Should be. Yeah. Okay. So it's asking for new pin, which is Windows Hello feature. So I'm gonna put the pin here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Press OK. A pin that meets complexity requirement, your pin must be at least 6 characters. Okay. So complexity requirement is that at least make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So never make it straightforward like this. Always go for the numbers back and forth. 9, 6, 4, 2, 8, something, something. Oh, seriously, what? Find a pin that meets the complexity requirement. Your pin can't be common number pattern. Okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 can't be there. Okay. So I'll just put it something like, okay, 951753. There's kind of a cross on the keyboard, 951753. Hope I remember that. 951753. So, yeah, I normally go for another pattern, but so 951753 on the side numeric pad. Okay, so all set. But I hope that, oh yeah, let me just show you local administrators here. This is an end user device, right? But it's actually a, so here, what I wanted to quickly show you is the local admin on this machine. So for that, I'll let this dude first go through all the prerequisites. Then I'll just open this and show you the local administrators on all Azure devices. So if you go to this PC and then right click and go to manage, right, in any user machine, any Windows 11, 10. And then right click this PC and manage. And here you see local users and groups. When you go to local users and groups, so there's users and there's an administrator, which is, they're all right now disabled, right? Because there's a down arrow here. Those are the default local users. But if you want one user, if you want yourself to have access to this device, in case the user has left the company and now you need to log in from this device with some user account that has full privileges on this particular device. Either you can create a new user here, suppose a new user, and it is company local admin 1. You would give some vague name, obviously. This is just a example. And then you would go for small ABC, capital ABC, 1, 2, 3, large 1, 2, 3, suppose small ABC, capital ABC, 1, 2, 3, large 1, 2, 3. And user must change password? No. Password never expires? Maybe yes, maybe no. But this is your way into an end user device to reconfigure it. Suppose the user has left the company and has to return the device, obviously. So in that case, you have to log into that machine. So you must have some kind of local administrator account, right? So that's why then you create that. From Intune, you can remotely create a local administrator account as well. This is an account that is created. This is a local admin that has all the privileges on this particular machine only. Deepinder says, this is how we get tricked to forgetting password. Exactly. So yeah, but the local administrator settings, now you understand what is local administrator. I just showed you here the machine. So I'm going to go for manage additional local administrators on all AzureAD joint devices. Suppose you have 5,000 devices that are joined to AzureAD. Do you want to manage, do you want any one AzureAD account or few AzureAD accounts to automatically become local administrators on all the devices as well? So you have to be very, very careful here which account you're giving access, which AzureAD account in the cloud you're giving access to all 5,000 devices. Suppose there are 5,000 devices, so to all 5,000 devices in your company. So whichever account you add here now, suppose I add my domain admin, I would not do that. You would go for some kind of account like IT help at your company. You would create certain that kind of account. We actually have that one. So IT help and or any other device admin or maybe some vague name. DAD DAD 34589 and in some Excel file, hidden Excel file, you would have put DAD 123 means device admin account. Something vague, right? So this is suppose I add global administrator here, this guy. But obviously, a domain admin being admin to all the local device administrator. This is global admin can already access any areas of the device as long as the device is joined to the Active Directory, right? But you would go for some IT help or some other accounts. I'm just adding some account here, but definitely don't add global admin account, which I'm adding now. Don't do that. Once you add here this account will have access to all the devices. This account will start showing after some time here as the account that has access that is a local admin to all the devices, right? So whichever account you add there, if you go to groups, there's the administrators group. Whoever is a member of this administrators group has access to this local device, this particular local device. That person can do anything. So if I double click here, where is it? Yeah. Oh, there you go. So AzureAD, they already added that here. So you will find this object ID or security ID here for some of the Azure Active Directory accounts. That local user administrator is also part of the administrators group. Okay, so the thing is that you have to be very careful with this option at device administrators, local administrator settings. If you go there, whoever you add there will have full all-out access to those machines whose local admin this user account is now. You have to be very careful who is account you will give access, which Azure AD account you will give access. Sometimes you can create just password yourself, username, password yourself, just like I created. So now this is not a Azure Active Directory account. This is just a local device account. If I have physical access to this device, then I can use this account, and if I know the password, I can just log in from this. Or if I remotely connect, I can still use this account. This is just local to this machine. Or now from that option, I also added not only a local account back there, but also added from here an Azure Active Directory account that has all access to that device as well. So this is that option. And then there is enable Azure AD local administrator password solution. So Labs, this is on preview. What it does is Labs is the management of local account passwords on Windows devices. Labs provides a solution to securely manage, retrieve the built-in local admin password, built-in local admin password. So with cloud version of Labs, customers can enable storing and rotation of local admin passwords for both Azure AD and Azure. And so this is a very good thing that in rotation, the passwords will be changed from time to time of the local administrator account. This is very good. Suppose you have put some one password 5 years ago. This was a policy. Okay, password will be this. Now it's in the password document file and somebody got hold of the password file. Now that password is already there that, oh, for all the 5,000 machines in the company, there's a local admin account. And that local admin's account password is this for last 5 years. Don't change it because it's in every device now. Who wants to connect to every device and keep changing it every month or every year? Labs does that and it keeps on a rotation. It keeps rotating the password, and whenever you need it, it just tells you the current password, and then you can log in from that account. So this is in preview or this is still being tested. This is a very, very cool feature. And I would definitely press yes to this if once I have to go through and check the whole thing myself, that how it works in the cloud, and then obviously. Then there's other settings, restrict users from recovering the BitLocker keys for their own devices. No, like restrict users from recovering. the BitLocker keys for their own devices. This setting determines. I mean, like it should be yes actually for me. You were saying?
I have a question about the manage additional local administrator. So as you create a duplicate user, can we a duplicate administrator also for a safe site like
Yes. I mean, like this user that I created, in fact, you're right. I didn't do the next step. I was supposed to do this is a local user, but this is not a local admin right now because it was not added to the administrators group. Member of, I'm going to click add, and this was the thing that I was supposed to do. And thanks for reminding me. Administrators, put there and check name. So now this user is local admin. Before it was a local user having no privileges. So thank you for reminding. Now it is when I add it to the administrator group. If I go to groups and I go for administrators, so this user is now part of the administrator security group. Yeah, this one, every local admin that I just added now. So if I do this extra step, then this will be a local admin. Just by naming it local admin doesn't make it a local admin. It was having no powers till now until I added it to the administrators group. Or yes, I could have gone for first I have to enable this account and then copy this account if it offers. So it's better create a separate account and add it to the group called administrators. That will have all the powers. Okay. So other setting restrict users from recovering the BitLocker keys for their own devices. So if they are the owner of the device, this setting determines if users can self-service recover their BitLocker keys. And no, I don't want users to
Hello,
recover
please.
that because then the hackers can recover that too.
Sorry, I posted a question.
Huh?
Posted a question on.
Yeah, sure. What's the question? Okay. Understand the question you're saying. Which question? The one that was asked? O-N-K.
You hear me?
I can hear you now.
I said, please, how can apps app to manage devices? Example, give admin password, how to use, how to install the software.
Yeah, so labs, it is in preview and I haven't actually gone through the steps myself as well. So obviously I have to check that too. So Azure AD labs, and then start with labs and Azure Active Directory. So how does it work? I have to create a lab for that as well. Enable labs and Azure AD device settings, supported Azure clouds, enable labs and Azure Active Directory settings. By default, Azure AD does not allow managed devices to post new Windows Labs passwords to Azure AD. You must first have your IT admin enable the feature at the Azure tenant level. And then, so how to enable a feature and then policies that apply to Azure Active mode, then Labs group policy. And so these are some of the Solomon graph, Azure Active registered app. Yeah, so labs have to be configured by following this process and rotate the password. I'm gonna give that, I haven't created a full lab on that and it's still in preview. So even if we follow that now, although we should know that for future, this is very, very critical feature to implement that the password rotation happen for local admin accounts. So this is the page for how labs work. So how labs work. Oh, there are some comments in WhatsApp chat as well. Okay, so this is I put that link there, and here, and yeah, hopefully in future I create that lab and I will be sharing that. So how labs work. So here, and I haven't seen the. So data protection. So Rafael says in the WhatsApp that was 11:42. Oops. Okay. Sorry, I didn't read that. Data protection feature that integrates with the operating system. Yeah. And please, how can you create labs app to manage devices? For example, if there is a need to give it. Yeah. So the link is there, but I was looking at only the WebEx chat comments, but I'll keep an eye on the WhatsApp comments as well. OMK guys. So um, yeah. Now we will be taking a break. And let's take a break and come back again to continue with the features. Break starts 12, 16, 12, 26. Okay. Muting and pausing. All right, guys. So let's get connected again. We're back. So there's a comment in the chat. Jamin says, my client's machine are domain joined to samosa.local is also appearing in devices by default. As registered, it appears always, and I joined spare PC to Azure as domain joined. That is okay. Okay. So the machines that you joined to on premises are automatically showing their devices. Okay, so you shared a picture as well. Okay, that's good, man. I mean, like, did you run a AAD Connect or all those devices? These are JMin devices, and Alan Reed, 2 devices with Alan Reed, and 1 with Asha Bihari. That's great. Good. Oh, not at all. So it did disappear. So this means that whenever the AAD kicked in again, every half an hour it synchronizes. So it detected those devices way back at certain time. So then they started appearing there as well, which is good. So this is what's supposed to be there. But I think it's for Intune policies that I was seeing a procedure there where we have to register them in Intune policies if they are local devices. So when we get to the Intune, then we're gonna discuss that again. That's good to know that because my company environment is all cloud only. So we don't have on premises. So I didn't have to do that for a long time. So that's why. But yeah, in Intune, we're gonna try to check that again. That's good to. Thanks for sharing that. This is very good. Okay, guys. So let's get going and explore some more. Explore some more features of AzureAD. I hope this weekend I create that lab, man. I have to make myself do that. Or if there are 50 samosas coming from somewhere, maybe then I'm just kidding. Yeah, okay. So here, the Humber College students, this batch, new batch, so they know my weakness of samosas. So when I said that, okay, the class is from 6 to 10, right? So I told them to, hey, let's study till 11. So one student said, sir, we're not going to send you 50 samosas if you put the class more than 10 o'clock. I was like, whoa, okay. So now samosas could be used as threat to me as well. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, let's go ahead and explore some more features. There are very, very interesting features, and if you're an admin, you're supposed to not miss them at all. So labs is we talked about that, and other settings restrict users from recovering. Yeah, we talked about that too. That restrict users from recovering the BitLocker key. I would go for yes, but for their own devices, restrict users from recovering the BitLocker keys. Okay. So this setting determines if users can self-service recover their BitLocker keys. Yes, it restricts non-admin users from being able to see the BitLocker keys for their own devices if there are any. Allows all users to recover their BitLocker keys. Recover. Yeah, guys. So it's okay. It happened that during pandemic, as I was saying before, that users, one or two users, it happened to that they call the user called and they cannot log in. So they could go to the recovery page of BitLocker, and then they were asking me to give them the recovery key. If they are unable to, if they were unable to go to BitLocker recovery page, then it would have been a big problem. Right? Then I would have told him, hey, and now you have to come to office and do that. And they would say, okay, I'm gonna come tomorrow. And if this happened at the mid of the day or at the start of the day, then all day would be gone. And who's to blame there? Right? So I think IT would be blamed to put such restriction. But if they can see the recovery page, we can give the BitLocker recovery key to them to put it there and be able to log into the laptop. Right? So this is okay. It should be on no. Unless companies wants that, no. You should not be able to see recovery BitLocker recovery page. Then yes, you can put yes. Otherwise, in my company it is no. So no changes on this page. There's one change. Change the 50 to 5, and then I'm clicking save. But these are very important settings here that you must visit if you're an administrator of your company and check out all the things. Enterprise state roaming. So users may sync settings and app data across devices. Yeah, I mean, with AzureAD Premium, you can select a subset of your users and enable this feature for them. Without AzureAD Premium, you cannot. You can still use this feature, but only for all users at once. So the thing is that uh, if the users are logged in from cell phone as well as from laptop, and they've put anything on one drive, or they put any configurations they've changed on their application, so they should synchronize on all their devices that they're logging in from. So that is actually okay. But so I'm just gonna put that all here, or I would have gone for all in my company. But even if it's on none, it doesn't pose any threat, or it doesn't disrupt any uh, day-to-day work anyway. So it's just that synchronization of applications happens across devices, and if user is sometimes connected to cell phone, sometimes connected to laptop, sometimes connected to tablet. So whatever browser settings are there, suppose the user added saved another important website, and that should also synchronize across the devices, or whatever changes the user has made should synchronize all the devices. So this is kind of useful for the users. So I'll go for all and click save. It also says that Activity Premium should be here. So we need to enable Activity Premium, or maybe we have already enabled that. I kind of don't remember that we did or we did not. So how to enable Active Directory Premium? And Active Directory Premium actually gives us a long list of features. This is there is AD Premium 1, and then there is AD Premium 2. Right? So we should enable Active Directory Premium features as well. So how to enable Active Directory Premium so all the features should always be showing there for us. So that would be another. So how to enable Azure AD Premium 2 so we could see all the advanced features of Azure AD. So let's quickly do that. For this, we need to go to Azure AD license section, license page, and enable trial of AAD Premium 2. Right. So hopefully we have maybe we have done that, but we're just gonna double check that because the premium word appeared there. So why don't we just check it out? We have to go to the licenses, and licenses, they have rearranged everything now. So I have to just check. I'm going to click show more here in the Azure Active Directory, and it's roles and admins. I think it should be in billing or settings. So licenses is in billing. So licenses here. I'm going to go to the licenses inside Azure Active Directory under the billing, then licenses. And here on the right side, I'm going to go for all products. So we have it. So it's a developer. That's E5 license. And then for automate, so no, we don't have it. Active Directory Premium 2 is not enabled here, or it's not showing here. If I go to try/buy to enable Active Directory Premium. So there are two ways to enable that. So Azure Active Directory Premium 2 can only enable that, but there's another thing. Enterprise Mobility plus Security E5 is a comprehensive cloud solution to address your consumerization of IT, BYOD, bring your own device, and SaaS challenges, software as a service, right? In addition to Azure Directory Premium 2, the suite includes Microsoft Intune and Azure Rights Management. So the thing is, why don't we enable Azure Active Directory Premium 2 with Intune and Rights Management as well? So we can either only enable Premium 2, Azure Active Directory Premium 2, so all advanced features here will be enabled, but none of the features of Intune and Azure Rights Management will be enabled. Okay? So we have to make sure that we enable these features. So I'm in Azure Active Directory, then I went to billing, and I went to licenses just to enable some advanced features, then all products, and then try/buy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to enable Active Directory Premium 2 plus Microsoft Intune and Rights Management. Yeah. So the above one, it has Premium 2 as well as other features, and this one only has Premium 2, right? If you go to service plan details, it shows for this option. This also includes Intune and information, Azure Rights Protection. Is this AzureAD? Oh man. No, the above one, enterprise mobility plus services plus security, would include Intune and Azure Rights Management, but this one would only include just this Azure Premium. So let's go for the purple one, the above one, and you just have to activate, and it will activate for 90 days. Okay. So I'm gonna click. Oh, it says Intune as well. Why the above option is, how is the above option different from the below option then? Okay, so blah 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 blah. Because I don't think if the Intune is there, then maybe security is not there. Okay, yeah, share your screen.
Above has more features.
Yeah, above is more features. We're gonna enable that, but Jamie is saying that, and there you go. The service plan details for what? For E5 developer. Premium 2. Well, E5 has Premium 2 Intune. Yeah, advanced features of those will not be available. It supports Premium 2. Because you know what, Jimin, the previous feature that I was showing about, that preview, I enabled that feature just now. It said that if you enable Premium 2, then only you can select the third one. Right? So I was not able to select that. That's why I was coming here. But yes, it supports those features. You're right. E5 developer should support all the features, but some of them have to be activated. So here, yeah, you're saying that, and that's good. Thank you for sharing that. Let me go back here and share again my screen, but thank you for sharing that. Right, actually, it shows that, hey, when you get E5, you have to, if you would like to purchase a subscription directly from Microsoft, blah, 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 no. So why is this option for activate enabled if it's already there, right? And one more thing. Okay, let me confirm from another area that if this feature is available, there are some premium features that should be disabled. Actually, they've actually now arranged everything in the Entra. Before it was a different way. But I'm going to go quickly to all devices where we were, and let's go ahead. Device settings. No, we were in all devices or locker keys. There it was. Enterprise state roaming, right? So if I go to selected, yes, you're right, actually. With AzureAD Premium, you can select a subset of your users. So if I click selected and I'm selecting subset of my users, and I'm able to select subset of my users as well. So this means that and it was saying that this feature is without AzureAD Premium, you can still use this feature, but only for all users, but not subset. But I can go for subset of users. This means Active Directory Premium 2 is enabled, right? And well, I'm gonna not let's not activate that now because there are some more advanced features coming, which requires premium. Those advanced features are disabled, then we can always come back here and test it. This would be a good way to double check that as well, because definitely E5, the top offering of Microsoft Enterprise 5 license is top offering of Microsoft. So it should have everything available, right? But because the option of activate is there, so it's a good thing to test now. We will not enable that. So I'm just gonna the licenses for products. And let's not enable that trend by now. Let's not activate it now because when any feature if we find it disabled, we can always come back here and check it. But E5 should have all. I did find that in previous batches, some of the features disabled, and they said, hey, when you enable Premium 2, then only this will be enabled. So when we hit that feature, we're going to come back here again. Okay, so that's a good thing, Jamin, that you pointed out. Thanks for pointing that out. Let's not enable that and let's put it to test as well. Okay, so let's continue with our features. And if anyone has activated by already, then yeah, it's okay. But better test it that if we don't have to enable it at all. Maybe they have changed that now. That whoever gets E5 Premium 2, they don't have to activate. In Tune, they don't have to activate. Although we used to do that, we used to get E5, still we had to activate because some certain features were disabled. Now, if the features they have enabled, that's good. Yeah, but developer license, this is the first time I'm using developer license, so it could be that too. That for developer license or developer environment may have enabled everything. Okay, so let's keep going, guys, and we'll now not activate and we'll go to test. Okay, all devices, and if I go there, enterprise state roaming, yeah, it's enabled, which was a AD premium feature, which is enabled actually. So blocker keys, we already talked about that, and local administrator and labs, we already talked about that too. Password recovery, local administrator password recovery, and learn more about labs. Again, when you enable labs anyway. It was in BitLocker key, right? It was here. It was device settings, yeah. Guys, let's enable labs anyway. It's on preview, so it's not really ready for commercial use, but I'm just gonna press yes anyway and save. But later, we can also, yeah.
When I click the labs.
Slap on the okay, yeah.
So when I was double click on that,
Yeah.
link. It says that you have you have to have permission or this.
So you're not able to press yes?
When you click that link, that one you paste it on a chat. Says you have a user
Okay.
policy, privacy policy. Is a trusted site or not?
Link on the chat.
Yeah,
What's that?
please. No, this one, this time.
This one?
You post you paste a link on the chat.
For Slap, right?
Yeah.
Slap?
Or
Yeah.
labs.
That was a very interesting one. Slap. Okay. So yeah, this is just a document. I mean, where do you see that it needs permission? It's just a document to read. Oh, but if you're following all these settings and you're trying to implement that, then I have to know which stage are you, and then I have to test it myself as well. Because it's in preview, that's why I was like, maybe some features not working, then what do I do? So it's in preview right now. So they're still testing themselves right now.
What is basically that?
This is just to change rotate passwords automatically for a local admin account. Suppose you created a local admin account for last 5 years. You'd never change it. That local admin account is created in 2000 devices, suppose. You can't go for 2000 devices and keep changing every month or every year even. So it changes, Labs changes, keeps changing the password of that local administrator for you. And whenever you need the latest one, you can go to the Labs dashboard or console and then grab that password, latest password. If it keeps changing, then hackers cannot get their hands on the local admin password to launch some attack from that machine. The main purpose is to keep changing password of the local administrator of the device. So, but it's in preview, so that's why I'm kind of, not spending more time on it. As soon as it's commercially available, then we can always, then I will create a lab for that. But you guys should go for YouTube and check how labs work. I mean, my suggestion is to go ahead and do your research. If there is some lab, then try to do it, or we can try to do it if it's not complicated and doesn't take a lot of time. Okay, so guys, let's go ahead. So Paul says in chat, does password manager is good for work environment like LastPass? Oh, yeah. So guys, there are some password managers as well, like 1Password. This is something that we are in the process of acquiring now for our company, and there are many enterprises have that already purchased, and many thousands of users are already using that. This just saves your password in one place, and it puts a lot of security on its own app, just saving all your passwords in one place, right? So, and LastPass, as you put there, so this is also password manager, and it also, so it's all about what are the securities they have implemented to protect your all passwords that you're saving here, and what is the, if you have any forum where there are reviews of administrators or different companies, that would then tell that which one to go for. I heard from some friends who are administrators in big companies that they're using this, so then I went for, we're in the process of checking its features, and near future we will be purchasing that for the company, 1Password. But otherwise, you have to check which one has a good reputation and enterprise features can compare both. What kind of enterprise security features it has that nobody could get hands on all our passwords of critical things that are stored in this password manager. Okay. So it's not risky if it has enterprise features. It should be okay to purchase that and use it. Okay. So in fact, some companies are maintaining their passwords in Excel sheet only, and they have password protected the Excel sheet. Right? So that's the old school way. These applications, password managers, really have very good security features that a simple Excel sheet does not have. So in that case, it is more secure than maintaining the passwords in Excel sheet, right? Okay. So let's go ahead. And so here we've talked about device related features, and then also what is labs. There's I think soon, if they enable that, remove the preview for this, then I could try to create a lab for that and upload it to my channel. So even after the course I'm able to do that, then you can still follow that lab for your knowledge. Okay, so let's go ahead, and we were on devices here, right? We were on devices and BitLocker keys. We talked about that too now. Then comes applications. Man, seriously. Now, guys, for the last few weeks, and it's just a big lab. I'm in the 25% of this now. But enterprise applications, we're going to talk about that now. But there's a lab for that. Basically, it's for external identities, as well as external identities is this external identities and enterprise applications. There's a one lab that covers majority of what they are talking about: enterprise applications and external identities, which is this. Anyway, what is enterprise applications? And I'm in the process of creating a lab where how to connect Google to Google Workspace to Microsoft Azure. So in fact, I had to purchase a $18 subscription month for Google Workspace, just to try to connect Google Workspace to this with Google users connecting to the applications in Microsoft, right? That is SSO, single sign-on. Anyway, I'm going to be obviously explaining when the topic comes. Right now, what is applications? So if you go to enterprise applications, obviously, why are you in the cloud? Because you want to securely deploy applications on the cloud, so your employees, wherever they are on planet Earth, could connect to those applications from the internet securely and reliably, right? So you would deploy applications in the cloud to Azure Active Directory. Obviously, Azure Active Directory offers you authentication, authorization, and auditing or accounting, right? So that is the purpose. You can deploy the applications to your on-premises environment as well. Obviously, you have to install those applications on your own hardware, on your own deployed operating systems, and you have to maintain the underlying hardware. You have to maintain the applications yourself. But when you deploy in the cloud, so they maintain the availability of the application at least, but you have to customize applications according to your company needs yourself. So you have to be an expert of whichever application you're adding here, right? All applications here, and then there is new application. So if I go for new application, so this takes us to the marketplace. The AzureAD App Gallery is a catalog of thousands of apps that make it easy to deploy and configure, single sign-on, and automated user provisioning. So when do you add an app here? So suppose you need to hear, there are some Cisco WebEx we are using right now, right? So suppose you're using Cisco WebEx, or you're connected to Google G Suite by Microsoft, or any other state-of-the-art application like Salesforce. Salesforce is pretty famous, right? So this is for me, I think, well, as the network says Salesforce, so it's for sales. Anyway, so Salesforce application, if you are connecting, so you must first have purchased the licenses, admin license of Salesforce, at least one or more than one license. And then you come here in Azure Active Directory to connect Salesforce. So how would it look like in a diagram? Obviously, it's from cloud to cloud, you're connecting organization. So there is that Salesforce organization or Salesforce company or a software resources, software or application services that you want, Salesforce, and it has a lot of services to offer for HR department, for uh, running the whole company, and especially sales and marketing stuff related services or features that they have. Now, you would have to purchase a license here. Maybe it's an expensive license. Obviously, it will be for big companies, but the services that Salesforce will offer would earn that company even more business. Now, here you have then Azure AD, and so Azure AD employees would want to connect to Salesforce services. And Salesforce would like to know, hey, this employee John here, is that a hacker or is it really a legit employee of your company, right? So whatever your company name is, X, Y, Z. Oh no, we have a company name, right? So Samosa Corp, right? Samosa Corp. Corporation. So your employees or your employee John is trying to connect to Salesforce. First of all, you purchase the license or not? Okay, you purchase the license. Still, is that your employee or is it a hacker posing as John? So there has to be some kind of authentication on this side as well. That if authentication, right, on Salesforce side as well. So John logs into Azure AD. Azure AD confirmed, yes, this is our user. When John is trying to connect to Salesforce, Samosa hacker group. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. I saw the chat now. Sorry. So your voice is pretty clear now. So now what I'm saying is that somebody could pose as John and then connect to Salesforce and then steal company data there, information there, right? Secrets of the company here. So Salesforce has to trust the authentication of Azure Active Directory. Hey, Azure Active Directory, if you have made sure that the logged in user is your user and you're okay with the authentication of that user, then I'll let that user connect to my services as well. I trust your authentication. Suppose there is no, and that is called SSO, single sign-on. So SSO is single sign-on. Single sign-on. This means that you can sign in from, there are two different companies with their own authentication system, but you can log into any one of the authentication system and connect to all the services of two companies, or three companies, or four companies, right? But user has to log in just once. That's the main purpose of single sign-on. So when you have purchased a new license of Salesforce, you have to first enable. You have to go through that single sign-on process. So these two companies, so not these two companies, these two applications, or these two different platforms. Samosa Corp would also purchase this, right? This is also Salesforce license is also purchased by Samosa Corp. So the company is same. Two different applications need to go through the process of single sign-on. So one application trusts the authentication of the other application or platform, then let the services be used of that application here. So once first you purchase the license of another application in the cloud, then you go through the single sign-on process. They both are introduced to each other, and they both have each other's security identifiers and other authentication information. Once that is all exchanged, they know each other, then yes, the user John can log in from just Azure AD username password and can remotely connect to Salesforce. Here, user John does not have to put the username password again, or user John does not have to have another username password for this application to log into this application. So just one username password and one time logging in should get user John to use AzureAD related applications as well as Salesforce related applications. So that is single sign-on. You only go to enterprise applications once you have given a license, or purchase a license, and also that you have gone through the single sign-on process. Then all works. So we're going to check it out some more. What else is inside that applications? When we go to enterprise applications, so there are some rules there. Enterprise applications, and you have to go through
Excuse me.
single sign-on. Yeah, you were saying?
The Salesforce will ask each time to the AD that this guy is authenticated from your AD database.
So it would be one time password confirmation will be done by AzureAD. And if the single sign-on is already established between the two applications, one application and one platform, two platforms, then no, Salesforce will, when the user is trying to connect after getting authenticated from here, that one time Salesforce will just confirm or reconfirm from Azure Active Directory, hey, is that your user, Azure Active Directory? And Azure Active Directory will say, yeah, I just confirmed it, let him in, thank you. So Salesforce said, okay, no problemo. Okay, John, you can come in and use the services. So with that, yeah.
So why we need a Salesforce then when they have trust established between the two domains? So why we need a Salesforce then?
The Salesforce has services that John needs to use. Salesforce is a full application. So John needs to connect to Salesforce, use the applications, and in order to connect, first John needs to be authenticated. Authentication is done here. Salesforce does this authentication. Salesforce just it still confirms one more time when John is opening some URL. Suppose there's a Salesforce URL here. So it just confirms with AzureAD in the background. Hey, is it John? Is that your John or is it some hacker John? So Activity says, yeah, it's our John. So yeah, you just let him in and the URL just opens. So John does not have to put password 2 times.
So how the AD recognizes a hacker or not? Because Salesforce is also just confirming. It's not he's not figuring out that this guy is a hacker or from AD.
No, because
So
of the
he's
single
just a
sign-on
double
process.
checker.
Salesforce has established a trust because it has gone through single sign-on process. Single sign-on means that Salesforce has connected with Active Directory. It is in background constant action with that Azure Active Directory. So once user is logged in, it is given the information that this user has successfully logged in, and we have confirmed from our side that this is our user. So then when the user is logged in, yes, the Salesforce let it log in.
Is the Salesforce has a like a encrypted application?
Yes, it is very secure and encrypted application. It has its own authentication system as well. But you don't have to use that authentication system because you're already getting authenticated from Azure Active Directory. Otherwise, if suppose single sign-on is not established, what will happen? John logged into Azure Active Directory. Azure Active Directory has password off, right? Then John wants to use a Salesforce service. So Salesforce, you have to create another account for John and username password. So whenever John goes to salesforce.com, wants to log in, so another username password he has to put there. He has to remember that username password, and he can log in here as well as here. But 2 times and 2 separate username passwords John has to use and log in to use different applications. So single sign-on removes the second creation of username second time and to again put username password just to log into Salesforce. So once John logs in from here, and he has to just remember his own AzureAD password, that's all. And he can connect to this. Why? Because thanks to single sign-on. Single sign-on just says that it kind of makes both the applications kind of same organization under same umbrella. So Salesforce becomes it just trusts the authentication system of AzureAD. User John has to use Salesforce services. That's why user John has to connect to Salesforce still, right? So that because Salesforce has some services that AzureAD does not have.
Okay, thank you.
Jimmy says in chat, so Azure is making Salesforce available in cloud and users are not connecting directly to Salesforce, but cloud, right? Yes. Via Azure Cloud, yes. Are we installing an application on cloud or Azure direct users to Salesforce website? So that's a good question. What are we installing here? When I showed you the interface here, so when we are clicking here, are we installing a big Salesforce application here in Azure Active Directory, or that the application actually still lives at the Salesforce site, but it's connector. So we can call it a connector, right? Connector, which is just a link from AzureAD to Salesforce. Is there a connector that we're installing in AzureAD? So as soon as John logs into AzureAD and clicks the URL of Salesforce, so the connector sends that information. Hey, one user coming from AzureAD, and yes, that user has been authenticated. Thank you. Salesforce says, okay, thank you, connector. And now I know that John is authenticated there, so I'll let the user in and use our services. So are we installing full Salesforce application here, or the application is here, but it's just a redirection of the user when the Salesforce URL is clicked, user is redirected to the actual application where the application is living. So yes, we are not installing Salesforce full-fledged application here. We are just installing a redirector, we can say, or a connector. That Salesforce connector here, Salesforce connector, connector will just simply connect this user to Salesforce. Right. So
Can we
if
say
I go through the
client of
process,
Salesforce?
we
say the client of Salesforce?
client is something else. It's just redirecting. Director, we can say. Client is like you have to install some kind of client application, and then from that small client tool that you connect. So let me show you one more thing here, then this will be also clear. So if I click Salesforce here and publisher provisioning, Salesforce automatic provisioning support, single sign-on URL, password-based sign-on, and SAML-based sign-on, linked sign-on, I'll just simply create this. If it was a full-fledged application being installed, it would take forever. It would take some time, right? But this will be added right away. And there will be some redirection or references, you can say, yes, will be added from Salesforce Azure Active Directory that Azure Directory users can redirect to Salesforce using that information we're adding now. So I'm going to first add, and then you can see that there's not much here. There's no application here. So it is added now. Right? And assign users and groups. What are the next steps? Assign users and groups. So Azure Active Directory users and groups. Set up single sign-on. Provision user accounts. Conditional access. If you want, you can put some condition that then you can get access if you follow these conditions. And self-service. Enable users to request access to the application using their AzureAD credentials. So that's it. It just gets deployed here. If I go back to enterprise applications, right? Refresh. So here is Salesforce. Object ID of Salesforce, application ID of Salesforce, home page URL of Salesforce. That's it. ID and links are there, right? So nothing else. Actual Salesforce is, since I'm saying so much Salesforce. So if I go to the website, Salesforce, the Salesforce. Obviously, you will have to purchase the login. Yeah, cookies. Yeah. Or try for free. But try for free kind of does not really include SSO or no credit card required, no software to install with Sales Cloud Professional Edition. You get blah 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 blah. Okay, so anyway, when you go to Salesforce here, you have to purchase a proper license that supports single sign-on configuration, and that's it. So once you log into that, they show the console, and then they all cloud applications do show single sign-on functionality as well. I have connected 2 sites in my company as well that required single sign-on. I connected that, and it was they had the manual process documentation there, and then they had the support available as well. So I was able to connect 2 online sites to each other, and then our users would log into that site directly without from their own regular daily, like the Azure Active Directory account. They're able to log into that site, use the features of that site. So that's the whole process. You just have to create that SSO, the other application. But if you have a license purchased there and that supports single sign-on, then only you can do it. So if I go back here, once that enterprise application is added, then you can just simply log in there. So there's a process for connecting that application. What's the single sign-on process? And that's exactly the lab that I'm working on. And in fact, with Google Workspace, I'm working on. So there is that setup single sign-on, right? I click that get started for inside the Salesforce, and second step is setup single sign-on. So if I click get started, then it goes for single sign-on, add security and convenience when users sign into applications in Azure Active Directory by enabling a user in your organization sign into every application used with only one account. Okay. Once a user logs into an application, that credential is used for all other applications you need to access. So yeah, just once login, and you have to then select a single sign-on method. There are multiple methods. There's SAML method, password-based method, linked method, and then there's help me decide. There's learn more here as well. I click the learn more. So they have a very big documentation on pretty much a huge amount of companies, that how to connect to that company, how to connect to this company. I wanted to show you that documentation. Obviously, on the other side, the account has to be created. Single sign-on options is shown here, at which kind of single sign-on option you want to use. There are several ways you can configure an application for SSO. Using an SSO method depends on how the application is configured for authentication. What applications can use OpenID Connect, OAuth, Open Authentication, SAML, and password-based or linked for SSO. Single sign-on can also be disabled. Okay. On-premises applications can use password-based, integrated Windows authentication, header-based. So we need to understand these methods there. What are these methods and how they work? But obviously, a lab would be tell tutorial AzureAD SSO integration with AzureAD SAML, Microsoft Entra. Actually, this is not the link I wanted to show, but this is a very good read on what are different ways of SSO that different ways an SSO can be configured between Azure AA, so AzureAD, and another cloud application, not only cloud application slash on-prem on-prem resources like applications. And so I'll just create here. I'll try my best to get that lab done, because I already invested huge amount of $18 per month on Google Suite. So I need to finish the next lab, but I need like non-stop 4 hours to concentrate on the lab once. Either I will do it here again, or I will create a video of that step by step, and you can just follow the video. Because if it is overwhelming, then yeah, I will have to create a video of that. Otherwise, I will do that once again in front of you as well, explaining all the steps. So this, I'll put this link here in chat so you could also do a good read on this. Is that SSO is something that you're gonna face no matter what. Image did not. So here, but if we go to this document, so the following SSO protocols are available to use: OpenID Connect and OAuth. Choose OpenID Connect and OAuth 2.0 if the application you're connecting to supports it. For information, see OAuth 2.0 and OpenID Connect protocols on the Microsoft Identity platform. For steps to implement OpenID Connect SSO, see setup OIDC based single sign-on for an application in Azure AD. I'm just gonna right-click this one as well in another because I wanted to show you that huge repository of applications with step-by-step instructions. Okay, add an OpenID. So first thing is that it's saying you can use OpenID Connect and OAuth Connect with those sites that support it. So does Salesforce support OpenID and OAuth Connect or not? Right. So if it supports that, then Microsoft says, yes, we have a documentation then how to connect the two sites together. I have opened another page, add an OpenID Connect based single sign-on application. Requisites, Azure account with active subscription, we have that. One of the following rules: global administrator, yes, we have that. Add the application. When you add an enterprise application that uses the OIDC standard for SSO, select a setup button. When you select the setup button, you complete the sign up process for the application. So there's a full process of and now they have given that process. So suppose you're adding an application called Smartsheet. So there's a process for that. More about planning single sign-on deployment. So they say that you have to go through the process of getting that application. I'm going to go back here. I thought they were talking more about it, but we're going to talk in detail later as well about OpenID and OAuth 2.0. SAML whenever possible for existing applications that don't use OpenID Connect or OAuth. For more information, single sign-on. So what is OpenID and OAuth anyway, right? Just to have some brief knowledge about that too. Knowing about OAuth or OpenID at the protocol level isn't required to use a Microsoft Identity platform. However, you'll encounter protocol terms and concepts to use the identity platform to add authentication to your app. So this is something that you will face, right, in your production environment, and maybe in the interviews they will ask that. Have you done any SSO? And in many, you are all part of that group where I'm sending every day new jobs, right? So always check what those jobs are asking for, right? So it for system administrator jobs, cloud administrator, cloud architect jobs, we often see SSO there. Often the word SSO is there. So at least, yeah, that's why I have to just spend that 3-4 hours or even more if there's troubleshooting required to make it work on our own setup. Okay, so anyway, you will encounter this to add authentication to your apps. As you work with the Azure portal, our documentation and authentication libraries, knowing some fundamentals can assist your integration and overall experience. So roles in OAuth 2.0. 4 parties are generally involved in an OAuth 2.0 and OpenID Connect authentication and authorization exchange. So how does it work? How does what work? OAuth or open authentication. These exchanges are often called authentication flows or auth flows. Right? So authorization server is Microsoft Identity platform. It is here, and the bearer token is here. The resource server is there, and resource owner is there. But it then shows you the whole process of how OAuth really works. I go for authorization server. The identity platform is the authorization server, also called an identity provider or IDP. It securely handles the end user's information, their access, and the trust relationships between the parties in the auth flow. So who is the identity provider? So this is your Azure Active Directory, identity provider, right? So it takes care of the whole end user information and their access and trust relationship between parties. Which parties? The client, the end user, or the user that is inside Azure Active Directory, and suppose it's a Salesforce.com on the other side. Right? The client is an OAuth exchange. The client in an OAuth exchange is the application requesting access to a protected resource. So the client is trying to connect to the resource here. So it says that, hey, who are you, and why are you accessing the resource, and do I have your username, password? So all that. This is just how OAuth work, right? The client could be a web app running on a server, single page web app running in a user's web browser, a web API that calls another web API, application programming interface. You often see the client referred to as client application, or app. So it is just an application trying to connect to a resource. Resource owner is in an auth flow is usually the application user, end user in auth terminology. The end user owns protected resource, their data, which your app accesses on their behalf. So what overall it's saying is that resource owner tries to go through is trying to use the client app to access the resources somewhere. Active Directory has to just check that, hey, the resource owner is connecting to the client app, and does this resource owner has access to the client app, and then is this client app okay to connect to another resource, which is just a service, maybe some kind of service there. So identity platform just tries to check the credentials of the client and the user. Brother says, what is API? API is application programming interface. It means that a small utility or code could let one application connect to another. So API would be kind of a bridge between maybe a smaller application and a bigger application. You put that API, okay, anyone connecting from this particular client or application can connect to the resource here. Suppose that API is removed, and there are some longer ways to do that. So you create an API that lets the user connect in a shorter and quicker way, more secure way. Right? So that is API. This is developed by developers, and that's just a small code or utility that helps do something big. And yeah, Jamin says API lets you talk to the other application. So it's kind of a bridge between the two applications that they are talking to each other. But you can customize it, and you can say, you can start the rules, even change it. So resource server is the host or provide access to a resource owner's data. So most often the resource server is a web API front end, API fronting a data store. The resource server relies on the authorization server to perform authentication and uses information in bearer tokens issued by the authorization server to grant or deny access to resources. So what is a token? A bearer token just has security and identification information about the app that is trying to request access to the resource. So that token goes back and forth. Active Directory also confirms through the token, okay, this app is trying to access this service resource. So can you tell me who are you? So client sends the token, and the token is confirmed, and all the information is confirmed, and user identifier, security identifier is confirmed. Then the token is sent that, hey, resource, it's okay, I confirmed. The identity platform have confirmed that this application is secure, and you can make a connection with that. And whatever user is requesting, resource owner is requesting through the app from this resource service, so give that service to them because I have confirmed that. So Raza says, does it work like IAM, Identity and Access Management? So API is just you can say a code that you what did I just do? What is so application programming interface? Application programming interface is a way for two or more computer programs to communicate with each other. It is a type of software interface that software interface offering a service to other pieces of software. A document, a standard that describes how to build or use such a connection or interface is called an API. So it could be just a document or just a standard for two programs to connect to each other, and basically developers or programmers would create those APIs for two programs to talk to each other. So no, it doesn't work like IAM, Identity and Access Management. IAM is done by directly. You hear me? Damon says can't hear you. Okay. Yes now. Oh, okay. Rosa says yes, and Jimmy says yes now. So yeah, Rosa, this is the application program interface. I would suggest that you can also YouTube it, and there will be so many small videos on that. But what we need to do is, what is an API? There you go. There's a video here as well. I'll just give that. That would be very good to see those videos. I'll be putting that in WhatsApp now, so please watch these videos, and I'll put the links there. What is an API? And video 1 link and video 2 link. I'm putting together all these links, and video 3 link. That would really clarify the concepts of A, P, and I. It's in WhatsApp as well, and it's now in WebEx as well, and I'll just put it here as what is an API, the slide as well. I have yet to create the last class and this class page on LMS. I'll be creating that, and then you will have access to that. Okay, so what is API? You can just check it out here as well, and make sure you go through those videos as well. Okay, so we're gonna go back here, and it goes wherever it starts talking about programming and terminology and developer terminology. It's kind of boring, but it's very, very important to know at least where you are involved as an administrator or cloud architect, right? So that's why I was going a bit more in depth and trying to go for tokens. The parties in an authentication flow use bearer tokens for store, verify, authenticate a principal, which could be user, host, or service, and to grant or deny access to protected resources. Bearer tokens. What are bearer tokens? Bearer tokens in the identity platform are formatted as JSON web tokens, JSON files or web tokens. So what bearer tokens just simply have information about the user and the app. Right? So bearer tokens assure, verify, and authenticate a principal. So these are the bearer tokens. So the app sends a bearer token. Hey, trust me, I'm the app that is registered to you, and I have my identity is this, my security ID is this. Suppose there's an object ID, so my object ID is this, and this is the domain name that I connect to. So the token just takes the information to the authorization server, and it just confirms that from its own records. Then it sends it back acknowledgement, and then application also send that bearer token to the resource. And the resource also confirms from its own data that is that information that the token is showing is the same that I have for this identity platform. So it also has information about identity platform. So if the information set here in the token is exactly the same as there, and it confirms that, then it lets the application connect to the resource. So overall, authentication works that way. Roles in OAuth, app registration, endpoints. You can just do a more deep dive into what OAuth, how OAuth really works. Just like what is API, what is OAuth 2.0. You should also go for some small videos there for that too, just to expand your knowledge on this. SAML, choose SAML whenever possible for existing applications that don't use OpenID Connect OAuth. For more information, then SAML protocol is also there. You have to at least read something about it. This article covers the SAML 2.0 authentication requests and responses that Azure Active Directory supports for single sign-on. Protocol diagram below describes the single sign-on sequence. The cloud service service provider uses an HTTP redirect binding to pass an authentication request element to AzureAD. AzureAD then uses an HTTP post binding to post a response element to the cloud. So again, there are some back and forth communication just to confirm you are who you say you are. So authentication happens this way between when you use SAML. In the document, there's some information that is cross-verified. Then the user is then the single sign-on process is configured. Okay? So the SAML is another way to configure SSO. Password based. Choose password based when the application has an HTML sign-in page. Password based SSO is also known as password vaulting. Password based SSO enables you to manage user access and passwords to web applications that don't support identity federation. Also useful where several users need to share a single account, such as to your organization's social media app accounts. So password based is just when you are not going for SAML or OpenID Connect and you're going for some single shared account which many employees connect to. So then you can go for that. Linked. Choose linked when the application is configured for SSO in another identity provider service. Linked option lets you configure the target location when a user selects the application in your organization's end user portals. You can add the link to a custom. So linked is that, which is this link. So a link for Salesforce has been added here, but from the Salesforce side, it's a linked authentication because you don't have to do anything here. Well, actually, you do have to do for single sign-on, but the thing is, all the authentication is taking place. All the heavy-duty work is taking place on AzureAD side. Here, Salesforce just trusts that authentication and lets the user log in. So from the Salesforce point of view, it is just linked authentication. From AzureAD, it's a full proper either OAuth authentication or it is a SAML authentication. So Jamin says in chat, it's like TGT, yes. Ticket granting ticket, TGT. That we use in local AD for authentication, yeah. And TGT is used by Kerberos. So, and what are binding? So binding is just connecting, mapping, connecting. There are so many terminologies that come when we talk about some more complicated topics here. And that's why a lab is very, very useful. One lab. But today I will try my best to just get that lab done. So if I go back here, single sign on, man. So it's saying password based or linked. How do you want to or disabled? So it could be any of those authentication. So what type of authentication Salesforce support shown here, but you don't see here what, right? It's SAML password-based link. But what we know from our documentation here that we see that there are so many types of authentications here, right? This is just SAML. And certificates, licensing, shared account, single sign-on options. Yeah, this is the main document that I shared with you that tells that some cloud applications would support OpenID OAuth, some will support SAML, some would support password-based, some linked it. Well, if you disable, it's disabled, right? Integrate Windows authentication, IWA, and header-based. So these types of SSO that are available. So mostly you will deal with these two guys. OpenID is much easier. SAML is a bit more complicated, but actually relatively easier doesn't mean it's not complicated. It is also a bit tough, but when we go through once the process, you will see how it is, right? Tough or not. So yeah, hopefully I'll. Okay, so Raza says in chat, what offer the best security? Well, both offers security because Microsoft is using or accepting both types there. It's just different scenario. It's just different types. Some applications, third-party applications, do not support OAuth. They support SAML. Microsoft sees that secure as well. That's why they would just go for that. So both are secure. And any one of those would be supported by much all of the organized applications on the cloud, platforms on the cloud. So both are secure. It's not like one is less secure and the other is not. It's the criteria. It's the who supports what and which is more complicated. Okay. So here, so guys, single sign-on is this. I wanted to just show that once that this is the process. You can't just when you go to enterprise applications, you can add applications, but it's not like you're adding the full application. You're just adding a connector to that. You must have the license for that application. I'm going to click new application again, and then again we are in the gallery. You can see here Google Cloud that we can connect to in this, and this is what I'm trying to connect. There's G Suite I saw there. So that is also Slack. There are all kind of other third-party applications yeah, G Suite here. This one. If I click G Suite here, G Suite is like Microsoft 365. It has its own Word, Excel, PowerPoint, right? And it also has SharePoint like sites. So I'm going to click create for G Suite as well. Hope I could just test directly on this one because on the other side I have purchased that already. I just need to test it all and put some documentation what to do first, then next. So here also it's just giving me application ID, object ID that needs to be also provided at a certain stage to the other side, to the G Suite side. From this is Microsoft side, right? Microsoft gave application ID and object ID. Anyway, when we go through the whole, hopefully next week, I'm not promising, but hopefully next week, if I that many hours to create this lab, I would be very excited to do that. And I would try my best to copy that lab. Yeah. Jamie says in the chat, this section covers only SaaS-based application, right? We are not pushing any application to users on their local device. We will be pushing applications to local device as well as cell phones and tablets. But that will be done in this course, endpoint management or Intune course. We will be pushing all the apps there. This is, yes, SaaS-based applications, cloud-based applications. So pushing apps is different. That is done through a totally different application, not from here. ONK. So not much here if we are not going for SSO because this is all about you want to add application. If you have an SSO, if you want to go for single sign-on, then you create an application, right? So Raza says in the chat how ServiceNow works and where. ServiceNow is just like Salesforce. So just like Salesforce is there, ServiceNow is just a ticketing service, and this It also does a lot of other so it also offers, but main it is I used to use that in Scotia Bank. We used to use that part. Companies they have service now, and now is also that you have to purchase a expensive. In fact, my company wanted to purchase a ticketing service. We asked them, and they were saying it's I think license is it was ridiculous price. I think it's $40,000. I think per year or $80,000, something like that. Very expensive it was. Banks and governments and industries they had this. Very big companies had this now, but it's pretty expensive. So we went for some ticketing solution that was $10,000 per year. This was like 40 or 60,000, something like that. But yeah, then this is a ticketing service, and you can connect SSO. That there are thousands of applications you can connect SSO with. Right? So this is not just one application. So I've added two here. If I go to enterprise applications and overview, and all applications. So yeah, I got these applications here right now, Google Cloud and Salesforce. But this is what hopefully we'll have some lab available by next week. Okay, app registrations is if you have purchased some app and you've properly registered it with licenses, so then you will see those apps appearing here as well. All applications shows whatever you have, whatever was already added. Owned application is when you own it and you have some license information as well. So this is application one lab due for that. I promised that with previous batch as well, but I still couldn't. It's 3-4 hours during weekend is cruel. But definitely I need to be doing that. I'm developing a course for DevOps as well. So hopefully soon I will be offering that with some developer and programmers related stuff as well, scripting, automation, because it's really, really important. Anyway, registrations. So yeah, this is just registering apps if you are owner of the apps. Other than that, roles and admins here is, all roles that you can add users to, and then they will get that privilege. So nothing rocket science here. You just go to the role, make sure that that user really needs to have that role. You can check the description of the role, what this role actually will let users do, and then click add as assignments. And in the add assignment, this is application administrator role, and then scope is the whole directory or some application or just one service principal. So this directory would always be the main choice. And member selected, suppose I go for Adele, select. The next thing that you should be very careful about is this eligible, active. Anyone knows the difference between eligible and active already? We discussed that before. Who knows the difference between eligible and active?
So eligible, it means like they're eligible to do it, but they can't do it right now. Is that something?
So
it means you are eligible, but you are not active between this period. You have to give a session.
It's very near to that, yes. So eligible is that you suppose I give eligible and I uncheck that, and whatever date I give here, but I keep it eligible, right? So what will happen is that the user will get an email and there will be a activation link. As long as the user does not click that link, the user is eligible to have that privilege but will not have that privilege until it is manually activated. Whenever user manually activates that link, only then user will get that privilege. Active is, obviously you get the idea. User is right away, getting that privilege once the assign is clicked, and you just have to put some justification. You have to put better always not go for permanently assigned and give 6 months, 3 months always, and put that reason here. So eligible is that you have to manually activate from your email that privilege, and active is you get that privilege right away. So that's the difference between the two. Suppose I go for eligible and put that link here, and eligible to who? Oh, Adele. Let me go here and actually put the locally logged in user, right? So if I go for remove Adele and locally logged, because I can access this user's Outlook right now to show you. Select and I go next. Eligible for this time to this time. This is 2024, 2023, 1 year, right? So, and it is application administrator role. So I'm clicking assign now. Now assigning role successful. I'll go to my, so you will tell the guy, hey, you've been, this role is been eligible for you. Go to your Outlook, and I'm going to go to the Outlook, the locally logged in user. And there you go. There's that email. No, not that. So daily digest. There's one day, Monday or Sunday, that email will come. You not go. So I'm gonna refresh that. Okay, there you not go again. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Thanks. So here, Amshad is assigned the application administrator for Microsoft Directory. There's that here. And view details. The details of the assignment are below. If I go for another email, so now here it says that view or activate role. So this is how it's going to be. Suppose I don't see this email, I never click this button. So I am eligible to get this privilege, but as soon as I don't activate it, I'm not going to be having that privilege. So I'm going to click that view activate. And action required, security defaults are enabled to keep your organization secure. Yeah. So it says that Microsoft Authenticator app or multi-factor authentication you have to go through. So this is very good. Yes, I want to go through the multi-factor authentication before I enable this role. So that's very good. And it was for the locally logged in user, so it's me. And I want to use different setup method, phone. So just send me a, okay. Seriously, I gave it my son. Now I have to be playing game on that phone. Seriously. That's why I tell him not to. Okay. Anyway, I mean, I wanted to show you that, but what's my number? Okay. I hate this. So I'm just gonna still put my number 647-554-9446, and hopefully, when he sees a message, he does come here and give me the. I'll grab the phone right now.
We can also do the email address.
Okay, got the message. Here. 581-035. 581-035. Next. And yeah, done. Next. Done. Yeah. Go. Oh, seriously. Yep. Done. So once it is done, then it then it should show me that which role I need to activate. So this is the screen I wanted to show you. And active assignment, eligible assignments should show actually. So I'm just going to click that. I'm going to go to the Outlook again and click that activate role again. So this means it could be active already. Oh, see this, to use Azure AD Privilege Identity Management, your function needs EMS E5 for Azure AD Premium 2. Now we know, but which one? Dev tenant, nahi, not a dev tenant. No, again, it's correct. I need to be on the correct tenant. Why is it going to dev tenant? It should be on Microsoft. It was the wrong tenant. Remember that we created two tenants? One was dev and one was the. Oh, there you go. Now I'm in the correct tenant, and that same link took me to eligible application administrator. I need to activate it. That's what I wanted to show you. Activate. And yes, it is activated for 8 hours. After 8 hours, what will you do? You will go back here, click that again, and activate it again for next 8 hours. So this is very, very good feature. You're not permanently assigned and never assigned permanently any administrator. So and whenever after 8 hours you're activating it again, you have to put a reason that still need to work on the application, or whatever the details are. I'm doing this task, that task, this task, that task, right? Activate. Each one, processing your request, activating your role, validating that your activation is successful, activation completed successfully. So that will happen when it's green. And it's refreshing here. Now I am activated. So always, best practice is when you're giving anyone admin roles, always only give eligible. Active role is when it's an emergency, you really need to give it now, or or that's it, go eligible. So yeah, it says there that you have been assigned that role, activated. It says that, right? And role is now active for this. Okay, so 4 emails that confirm that now you're eligible, but always go eligible, don't go for anything else. This is the best practice. And so that's for roles and admins. When you assign a role, go for eligible only and let that person reconnect again after 8 hours. You can even change that maximum 8 hours to 2 hours. Every 2 hours, the person has to activate. That's brutal, actually. But 8 hours is good. Or 6 hours up to you. Okay, guys, so we're gonna still explore, and hopefully my lab is ready, SSO lab is ready by next week, hopefully. As we're gonna keep on exploring all the features. There's a lot we're gonna spend on identity governance as well. And then external identities also is the same, pretty much same lab. You connect two use platforms together. And hopefully by next week or next 2 weeks, we're gonna finish Azure Active Directory to start the we have this one as well. So next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll try to finish by next 2 weeks to go for Exchange Server. Okay, guys, so see you next week. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Sir, have a good week.